the host of this year's Scotties Tournament of Hearts. And a reminder, the first Sunday of every Scotties, it is Sandra Schmerler Day. You can donate in multiple ways as we raise money for babies in crisis right across Canada. As always, glad you're watching our coverage. Come on inside the building. Brian Mudrick, Kathy Gauthier with you. And this championship is so exciting. Kathy, 27 new players, their first ever Scotties, and we wonder if they can push some of the veterans in the field.
Well, they certainly have already done that, Brian. What we're seeing is that the youth and the new teams are coming up, but they are very skilled and tested, and they're really pushing the old faces.
We know that Rachel Holman, the defending champs, however, they're off to Italy to chase down a gold medal. That means Carrie Anerson is Team Canada, the four-time champion, in action last night. And we expect this. They're going to be tough, competitive games, and some of the new faces pushed Anerson.
Well, they did, and there is so much pressure on Carrie Anerson. Everyone's saying to her, well, if this isn't your year, then when is it? And for Carrie, had a chance here in 6 to score 2. This was critical.
You need draw weight if you want to contend and win one of these championships, and that's lovely. Little kiss right to the Scotties' hearts, and they would roll on to win. So a good start for them as you check the scores from last night. Nova Scotia a victory, Caitlin Laws another win. My goodness, they weren't really close on that side. Anerson actually the closest game, as you can see, 10-5 Yukon, and Bailey Scoffin the loss there. So our standings, so last night it was about Pool A. Anerson, Laws, Stevens from Nova Scotia, all 2-0. Remember, the top 3 will qualify for the playoffs. And remember, there's no tiebreaker games. Those head-to-head battles are so critical. We focused this morning, though, on Pool B and the standings there. So, 2 of the teams that we're going to showcase, obviously, favorites to make that top 3. Look at Black, Sturmey, Peterson, and Scharf, all off to great starts in Pool B. And that's a great segue, Kathy. Let's talk about Christina Black and her team. It's been a wonderful couple of years. Last year at the Scotties, she was this close to making the final, losing to Anerson. Trials final, she made it there in her home city. But talk about maybe the evolution of not only her team, but her competitors as well this morning.
It is the soft game, Brian, for Christina Black and Selena Sturmey, known as great hitters, but they've both realized you need to have a whole game if you're going to win at the Scotties. Both of them have gone to the finesse game, the draw game. That's going to be the big pivot this morning.
All right, keys to the game, always crucial. So how do you want to see, as we check our keys to the game, this team from Alberta to come out swinging this morning?
Well, for Selena Sturmey, the style points I'm talking about is the style of game that she's gone to play. That will be important. Force the game, throw lots of rocks and play. Don't let Christina go to a simple game.
4-4 record last year, missed the playoffs, trying to get back and have a chance to win a championship. And the keys for this veteran team out of Nova Scotia.
Well, for Christina Black, we know she can do it all, but does need to dial in on draw weight early. That has been a bit of a challenge. And Jill Brothers was tremendous in that trials final. She needs to dial that Jill Brothers today.
You're dialed in. Let's go. Let's go. Keys to the game are brought to you by PointsBet, the official sports gaming partner of Curling Canada, on Sandra Schmerler Day here on TSN. First Rock is next.
We all have the same goals, and all of us love to be here and love to play in those big games, and it brings the best of us out. It's not new for us, so we know what to expect and what it takes.
They're a great team, obviously. They've seen success throughout the past couple of years. I expect really good games from them, but there is a different level of comfort and confidence going into this one.
The 2026 Scotties Tournament of Hearts is brought to you by Kruger Products, the softest and strongest supporter for 45 years. By Home Hardware, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. By PointsBet, the official sportsbook and casino partner of Curling Canada. And by BKT Tires, growing together.
Sandra Schmerler Day here on TSN. 2026 marking the Foundation's 25th birthday, helping babies in crisis right across Canada. $10 million has been raised since the start. What a legacy that Sandra Schmerler has left behind in helping many families across Canada. As we look at the sheets across the ice this morning, Kathy.
Well, Manitoba's Beth Peterson opened with a win. They'll face Melody Forsyth from New Brunswick after 3 days, finally gets to play. Krista Sharp, what a come-from-behind win yesterday. She'll take on Mackenzie Mitchell from Newfoundland and Labrador. And finally, Amanda Powers, PEI team, faces Julia Weigel from Nunavut.
The first of 3 games a day here inside Paramount Fine Foods Centre. It is time to meet the teams, brought to you by Home Hardware, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. And this team out of Alberta, the skip is Selena Sturmey at third, Danielle Schmiemann at second, Desiree Haas, and at lead, Paige Papley. And out of the Halifax Curling Club in Nova Scotia, Team Black, the lead is Carly Everest. They have that rotation, of course, on the front end. Jen Baxter a second today, Jill Brothers a third, and your skip is Christina Black. Rock colors this morning, the team out of the Saville Community Sports Centre in Edmonton, the Redstones, Nova Scotia, the Yellowstones, of course, the draw to the button captured by Team Black. So to kick things off on this Sunday morning will be the lead, Paige Papley. And this team, Kathy, Selena Sturmey, what is Scotties she had in her debut in Calgary, home province, that 8-3 record back in 2024, 4-4 last year in Thunder Bay. What are the expectations for this team this time around?
Well, I think this team has very high expectations. They have put the time in, not only in training and in morphing their game, but we saw them at the pre-trials. They could have won it in 2, but they lost, but they did not look rattled at all. They came back so strong the very next day to win that, to go to the trials. That's the experience that makes you better.
No, back 8.
Carly Everest, a front-end player on this team as they rotate, as Marley Powers on the bench for this game this morning.
And this team really is a true rotation, Brian. They don't say who's playing well, who's not. It is just automatic that they switch out.
Real nice. Good. Good judge, guys. That does.
Rules of play at this year's Scotties, of course, the 5-rock rule, 10 ends. 38 minutes of thinking time. You have the 1 timeout of 60 seconds and the no-tick rule. It is amazing, Kathy. The rules change. The athletes get better. They find a way.
Yes.
I mean, that tick shot for years was critical, and teams got good at it, practiced it.
9-7.
So to get a piece of that center line, you see where that red one is important to help set up the end for either side.
Well, a relatively conservative approach. You can always go around a guard, but the play being forced out into the wings, I think both of the teams, it's still relatively new, and they also have not been on morning ice yet. And often morning ice is quicker and a little bit straighter than the rest of the day. Teams wanting to figure that out without a huge consequence.
All early accounts, though, Kathy, Mike Merklander, the head ice technician, and his crew have done a phenomenal job in setting things up here.
They always do. And one of the things that Mike did is he used a little bit of a heavier grit on the stones. So they texture the stones when the event starts. That puts a little bit of teeth in them, if you will, and that is what creates the curl. And then as they slowly wear down, they'll become a little bit straighter, and often by about Wednesday or Thursday, Mike will have to make a decision with Curling Canada if there's enough curl to get through the weekend, and if they feel that they would like more, they'll retexture them. The teams love it, but they don't glide as far early in the week because of those teeth.
Mother Nature, too, Kathy, probably helping. A lot of snow in the forecast. Cold temperatures here in the GTA, which is the Greater Toronto area, as we're in Mississauga, just west of downtown Toronto.
Yeah, they're not concerned about frost at all, as we saw at the trials, because of the weather.
No, we're not touching it yet. Whoa.
Jennifer Baxter.
Whoa. Finishing. Whoa.
Second stones for this team. And Kathy, you mentioned the trials. It was an absolute thrill for this team. You play at home in Halifax. Wasn't a great start. They rallied. They battled back. They make the final. And pretty special for this young woman and her team now. They said, listen, we're not here to just compete. We're here to win this thing this year.
And Christina was very clear that the trials meant the world to them being at home, but their training, their focus when they sat down over the summer to talk about this year was this event, to win the Scotties.
I don't know if I remember more classier comments, Kathy, than after losing to Rachel Homan. Emotional, and even saying, you know what, though? Rachel's the right team to go. They're the best chance we have at a gold medal. I mean, just full of class, this team out of Nova Scotia.
6-4. Just like the not sweeping.
If you tick and roll over, it's okay.
Okay.
11-5.
11-5, okay.
Yeah.
Changing tactics here because that guard by Team Sturmey is long. Christina going to have a go at this and try to move this stone over off the top of the forefoot.
Yeah. Hard then, yes! Yes! Hard! 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 Gotta roll off this guard, hard!
So on the guard.
Hard!
And we'll actually promote that.
Stay with it.
Yeah, I know. When I can.
So the center line guard remains. That'll go through the house, though. Still shot stone belongs to Alberta and Selena Sturmey.
Yeah, no, that was just me. I just sliding a little wide and then just kind of killed it, and it's all right.
Good feedback, Kathy.
For sure, and you know, that's really important to take ownership in that case. It wasn't that the weight was that far off, but when you're tight with that quiet weight, with that finish, and unfortunately what she's done is she's left a very good guard.
Great experience, Danielle Schmiemann.
Really? I thought heavy.
World Junior gold medalist, Canadian champ back in 2015.
Keep going.
Two-time Canadian University champion in 16 and 18 as well.
Full 12. We're full 12. Full 12.
And we'll
on
look
this
at the
side.
numbers after
Full 12.
5, but in my opinion, the battle in this game
Curl.
is at the third
Full 12,
position.
pushing 8. Curl.
Danielle is very
Curl.
consistent and always consistently good.
5-6. What did you have her at? 56. Okay, I had 53. Okay. I need to say it out loud. I keep forgetting.
You talked about Jill Brothers and her game, especially last year. Scotties nearly made the final, made the trials final. What's impressed you about the evolution of her?
Well, it's the draw game. Jill has been known as a world-class hitter. No one would ever question that. But in the trials, her soft game was so good. And while you'll see her just peeling that stone, that's an automatic for Jill. But it is that softer game that can get her into trouble, but it did not at the trials, and that's what she needs to have today and this week.
Try and get you closer to 80.
So a great chance here in this first end, setting up for a steal or maybe a force here for Team Alberta. And you like the confidence. In her sit-down interview with us, Kathy, Selena Sturmey said, you know what, don't look at our record this year, because despite that, we feel we are one of the top teams in this event, and we feel, as you look at, we talked about it off the top, 27 new faces making their Scotties debut. We have a great chance to win a championship here.
And I can see why they feel that way. They've definitely had an up and down year, but when the big games have happened, like at the pre-trials, they showed up. And when they got to the trials, that was, you know, you're dealing with the top 8 teams in our country, and they showed up.
11? Yeah.
Christina Black talked about it as well, saying those provincials are absolutely scary. They're terrifying because anything can happen, and they didn't have to win their provincials this year, obviously qualifying from their success over the last few years to be here at the Scotties. So to your point, a chance to really focus, train, and be dialed in for their big goal this year, which is the Scotties here in Mississauga.
Clean. Yep.
11-2.
Whoa. Yep. Roll it, Jen.
There's a bit of that finesse you talked about. Nice little tap, Kathy. Nice weight.
Nice one, Jill. And 11-2.
Very nice weight, because now you force Selena to have to hit that stone.
Good throws. Thanks.
11-3.
And I guess you don't have to hit it. Selena could go around, but without last rock, that is the play you would expect.
Just touching the line. I don't think this is gonna do a lot. No, her 11-5 didn't do much. But she was hurt. It's probably max, but 10-5. Things do seem to be curling a hair more today. Okay. Just roll to center-ish. Just touch it. Yeah.
And we told the story about Sturmey won the pre-trials to get to Halifax, and then that 4-3 record at the main championship for the trials, missed it on a tiebreaker. Man, you talk about those last stone draw to the button and how that adds up.
Yep.
And you think about Caitlin Laws squeaking into this championship, Kathy, literally by a hair.
Yes.
Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Curl, curl, curl. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Nice little flip inside.
Good.
And again, a pretty strong end continues for Team
You
Alberta.
guys got 10-3, I think. Okay.
Very nice, Lena. So,
Nice. Good job. Good call. Nice. There.
11-5.
Okay, mine was 11-1.
11-3.
A really nice shot by Selena to roll under. You can see about 3/4 of that stone, but because of the 3/4 side that's open, any play that Christina makes on it will roll into the open.
Yeah.
And a great chance for Selena and her Alberta team to force here in this first end.
Nice here.
Yeah.
And it's a tricky shot.
Okay. All right, buddy, like you can.
She's found the podium a few times, Christina Black. Bronze medal last year. Penticton, remember 2018? They went 10-3 that year. She was the third for Marianne Arsenault. Wonderful run that year in BC. And of course the trials finalist and runner-up in her home city. And not enough to remove the red, and it's still Alberta lying the two here with out in one.
That out turn once I was out there was nice. Sorry, Tina.
It's okay. I was with you. It looked like it was really going to
Carly's
bust.
all like, Jesus. I'm like, it was a really hard line to call. We can't bust him with the top.
No, I didn't want to just baby rub the top one. And I was light. It's fine.
Yeah. They said 12.
That was my first shot as well.
Well, for Christina, that's a tough shot. And you heard Jill say it's a tough line call. It is, because you can only see half. We've already heard the Sturmey team talk about feeling that it was curling a little bit this morning, and so you don't want to crash on the top one. The good news for Christina is that she's moved it off the 4-foot. She's giving herself access to a shot. The bad news is that already lying two, here's a great opportunity for Selena to draw in and really put some pressure on Team Black.
Kathy, where's the perfect spot for this stone she's delivering here right now?
Top 4 buried.
Line's good.
I did too, but I don't think it's
T. There.
Okay, close for line.
We're really close, I think.
T.
Wait only right now, close though. Wait only.
T.
Wait only.
Top 4.
Just top button.
Gotta go
Top
for that.
four.
Behind the T line.
We're just top button.
Line's great, just distance. Just top button, distance.
Curl up a little bit more.
Very nice.
And nice weight, top 4, lying 3, and just the hearts remain. The in-turn draw remains here for Christina Black to try and get her single.
50, you
Great shot.
What'd you get? 44. Yeah, 50.
Okay. Draw to the tee line.
Yeah, should be same as draw the button.
Yeah, except with this rock more like a 20.
With the 4 rock, we got rid of the 6.
Yeah, I know. So more like a 20, not a 10.
Oh, I understand. Sorry. Yes.
Hers was 15 too. I don't think it should
Quickly,
be.
Kathy, that little conversation there.
So all of the games, ironically enough, that we have covered so far have been on sheet C. So we've had a chance to learn the rocks, and they are definitely mismatched stones. And so obviously the pair that Christina threw in the pregame practice, the 4 and the 6, she did not feel were matched. And so they got rid of the 6 for her. But this is a faster stone than she's used to.
needs a beauty here in one. Her final stone drawing against the 3. Would love those Scotties Hearts. Weight looks close. Baxter, few more scrubs. Get it in for shot stone, and she will.
Beauty.
What a start. What a shot, and what a draw.
Like, trying to be careful of the glide.
Clutch early. Christina Black. Yeah, it says just the 1, but that is a big single point here in Mississauga. Welcome back to Mississauga, Ontario, inside the Paramount Fine Foods Centre. Opened up back in 1998. Kathy, over 4 million guests have come through this venue over the years, and thrilled for it to be our home for the next week for the Canadian Women's Curling Championship. What a draw in that first end from Christina Black. Picks up her single. So here in 2 with a 1-0 lead. It is Black with the yellow stone. Selena Sturmey with hammer here for the first time, throwing the Red Rocks.
Well, there's some really good precision shots made, and both of these teams have been out on the ice, and it just shows you the comfort from even yesterday, only playing 1 game, but really embracing these stones. Now, these stones were a new purchase this year by Curling Canada to mimic the profile of the stones that are being used at the Olympic Games. They wanted all the teams to have comfort with that. These teams have been in events like pre-trials and trials and points bets. So by now, the little bit taller, little bit wider field stones are very comfortable to them, and it's evident.
Yeah, I was chatting with Mark Kennedy before they take off for the Olympics in Italy, and he said they just kind of look more boxy.
They do.
They're just an interesting look, but not a huge difference per se.
So like a 35?
I think we're going to be pretty similar today.
Yeah. And it's the third rock down, remember?
Yeah.
You got it.
I like 40, 45, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 6!
You talked about this pure rotation is just, it happens no matter what. It's not performance-based at all. I know you never did that as a front-end player, but can you maybe talk about the challenges of being ready and how do you approach that?
They've done a great job, and the reasons for it, we've seen different teams try 5-person teams, and often they don't work, and they don't work because it's hard if you're a competitive athlete to not want to be in every game. I'm not cut out for that. I'd have to take somebody out. I'm just not. But it really works for this team because they have access to a player if somebody's away, and the player that is on the bench knows that they will be on the bench, and they have their own very important critical role to play. And it is always about being game ready. You'll see them watching every shot, charting every stone, and so they're contributing in ways that don't factor into throwing stones in a particular game. But you have to be mentally very strong to know that you could get to a trials final and not get to be on the ice.
Okay, I got to be careful around you. You're going to take me out.
I might. I might.
I'll try.
Head on a swivel with Goche around.
Okay.
Got the landing gear down in time. We are close to Pearson International Airport. About a 10-minute drive.
Yeah.
Whoa. Right out. Right out.
And a good recovery and a good peel of that corner. And we'll keep you up to date all morning long on scores right across the sheets of ice. As Peterson, a 2-0 lead over on sheet A. Northern Ontario with Hammer, but down by 1 to Newfoundland and Labrador. And PEI, 2-0 advantage over Nunavut. As Amanda Power, representing the Summerside Curling Club this year at the Scotties.
As we look at Desiree Hawes, she got married over the Christmas break to my nephew Tyler. Belated congratulations to both of them.
And he'll be heading to the Olympics as the alternate for Brad Jacobs' team. I know he was emotional and thrilled about that opportunity.
Well, it is something that you will... I mean, everybody wants to go to the Olympic Games in any sort of capacity, but what a great opportunity to learn and to see what it's like, so that if you ever get there yourself as a player, you'll be experienced to what that bigger picture looks like.
10-5. No, 10-2. I think so. Okay. Curl. 10-5. Easy, clean. 10-5. Straight. Little roll, Jen.
Christina Black.
Good.
And that'll bite top 4. Shot stone does belong to Team Alberta.
Nice weight, Jill.
A little straighter, just bump on this.
Okay.
I still think I can give you a hair more.
So trying
like
to
a
roll
pressure
away a
here.
little bit and create separation. She will not be second shot because of the yellow stone at the back of the forefoot. But for Alberta, that's actually helping them, that stone being there. So it's removing and then rolling to create separation between her two stones.
11-8. Yep. 11-8. Hard. Yep. Easy. Yep. Whoa. Yep. Yep. Yep.
11-2. Good throw. Sorry, bad judge.
And that'll set up the double if
Sure
they
does.
choose to play it, and it looks like they will.
Like a third quarter.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're a little thick and roll, it's fine. Peel.
Okay.
And you have the right
Someone
person
gets the
throwing
right
this. This is her go-to shot.
Yeah.
Whoa. No. Yep. Whoa.
On and off. 1, 2, got it.
Very nice by Jill.
Nice shot.
It does set up that little crotch, though, to come down too.
I was hoping it would spin a little bit farther.
at the end.
Just effortless in her up-weight ability. Strong leg drive, comes straight out at the broom. Her extension is just pure. She's not shoving it out. Very predictable results.
So just find that little pocket here, Kathy.
Yeah, make full use out of what your opponents have left you.
First that was a little
Line's good.
I thought it was close.
T-line. Line's good. Right to it. T-line. Gotta be to it.
We're close.
T. Back four. Keep going
You
then.
gotta go for back four.
Very close. Line's great. Back four. Full back four. Keep going for line. Even if
Back four is close as Papley a few final scrubs here. And that will be
sweep.
shot stone, nicely frozen. The key shot is brought to you by BKT Tires Growing Together. And Kathy, it is a couple of key shots here.
Well, it really is. We talked at the beginning of the show about the transformation of Selena Sturmey and Christina Black to being draw experts. And in the first end, Selena gets an opportunity because Christina just ticked a stone over. If she's deep, she gives her an out. If she's light, it's much easier. Puts it in a spot Christina cannot chase. So what does that mean? It means that Christina Black has to find the hearts in the first end. We heard them changing out rocks. This is not the rock that she threw in the pregame practice. So you trust your sweepers, you trust what you're feeling. Has to put it on the hearts to score. Could have given up 3, but instead a lovely team shot, scores her single.
And good on her, Kathy. She got that little bit of information in the hack where they talked about stones to make sure everyone was on the same page.
Sit.
Nice. Great.
Nose hit, and that is definitely on the pin covering it, so that is shot stone.
It just looked like
Nova
it hit a
Scotia.
spot and went.
Yeah. Nice
It
sweeping.
just looked like it hit a spot and went.
Yeah, good job. And then when she said 10-8, I'm like, no. 10-3. Yeah, great throw.
Okay. I might clip this and roll in front of the other one. It's a pretty good shot.
As promised, Kathy, our updates continue as Krista Scharf back at the Scotties, a two-time finalist at this event out of the Fort William Curling Club in Thunder Bay, and this morning taking on Newfoundland and Labrador.
Well, and a really good opportunity for Krista. Already lying 2, is looking for full 8-foot for a third point.
Facing Mackenzie Mitchell out of the Remax Center, St. John's Curling Club. We are very excited to go back to St. John's for the Brier right after the Olympics. And now all hands on deck to try and drag this stone in, and it appears to be fine. And it is fine. Taking advantage of her opportunities, and she does just that. 3-1, Northern Ontario leads after 2. And you know, Kathy, she wants a bounce-back performance after getting to play in Thunder Bay on home ice last year.
I was very disappointed. She told Vic and I before the game yesterday that when they looked back, they realized that they start slow in every game and in every event. And you can't do that. That's what they did in Thunder Bay. They came out very strong yesterday, played a very much more aggressive game than we've seen Krista play, but that is what she needs to do, and it certainly is working for her so far.
Yep. Okay.
Wow, and where is that pinhole? I think it's still yellow here, Kathy?
I
Close.
do, but she unlocked the back one, which she was trying to do so that maybe she can make a play and get rid of that yellow.
Yeah, yellow is
Yellow
shot
is
stone
shot.
for now.
Yeah, I know, but this one's going as well.
Yeah.
And then they'll just have a blank. I think we guard.
Yeah, the only problem is
just
we
guard
can't
this
guard it
side
because then
of-
she's really close.
This side.
That's what we need to guard, that side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just want to be
Yeah.
cautious here.
Either side. You kind of want to straight in front of it.
It's never good if we're in.
I mean,
And then she has like a run.
run into
and then she has
it.
a run
Yeah,
for maybe
I think you want to be a guard.
couple.
Yeah, I think
so
you want
just
to be a
tight.
guard. Yeah.
Yeah, nice and tight. Right here, Carly.
Yeah. We were just thinking you could come in, but you could set up a dolly. I think you might have to guard. Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Just gotta
Well,
guard
a
this
little
side.
bit further over, like bite this, like perfectly in front of it.
Yeah.
Right there.
Like here.
No.
Here's the risk. The closer that you go to there,
Depth though.
for Selena, she's going to have a chance to run. The yellow could go off this. This can come out, and you're creating an opportunity for multiple points. So if you're going to throw a guard, it has to be a guard, because in that case, Selena would be forced to maybe try to play a soft weight, and it would be only for 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Updates continue. Prince Edward Island and Amanda Power out of the Summerside Curling Club taking on Team Nunavut out of the Iqaluit Curling Club, skipped by Julia Weigel.
She's trying to go across the face of that redstone, Brian, to move it out and score 2. So it is not only about crossing the face of the stone, but not making a ton of contact on the yellow stone.
As Julia settles in to deliver, we check our feature sheet, and a good push here to make sure they get it over the hog line. Need a little more curl. And a good scrub by Nova Scotia there. Meantime, back to the update sheet, on and then off. Usually that means it's close. There's the tap, and that red, where does that go? And it goes enough. So a great shot for 2.
Very nice.
Nunavut will tie things up over on sheet D.
I think this is going to curl. Back 3?
Well, Christina got the guard. I think all that talk about the risk of coming in deep can get in your head. And so it is guarding the stones, but because it is so long, there is an opportunity to get to the face of the red stone and move that yellow back. May not be for multiple points, but it certainly could be enough to count.
I did not want to keep going. What do you guys? 30 too much? For back line, I think that's pretty close. I think this will be similar to the path you just threw.
So to the nose for 1, but if you can throw back line and get the curl and tap that Yellowstone just out of the 4-foot, there could be 3 on the board.
And she was 3 for 3 converting hammers. There you see it versus PEI in draw 2.
35. Back 12. Yep. Queen.
Great opportunity here. Final stone into Selena Sturmey.
Back line. 12, 8. Coming down. Straight. Back 12. Straight. Straight. Hard.
Does it have enough juice? Have to tap it far enough, and I think enough for just 1. It's close.
I think you might be right. So close.
Definitely not this one. Okay, so maybe a measure on these 2. Well, I'm going to kick that one.
I think
we can measure them.
it's just the 1. I was waiting for you to say one more time you agree with me, Kathy, but
I'm nodding quietly.
It's been very quiet in the booth. It was very quiet.
Just thought it was there.
That's a great example of where you carve a stone because you don't think it's curling, and then it started to over curl.
I was like,
I think it's just like that.
Slowing down.
really curled once in the weight,
Curled it, it lost so much speed.
So we'll get a measurement here in the second end.
Good throw.
we're hiding. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Holy, that curled.
I know, right? Yeah.
About 3.5.
3-1 notch in a bit. Oh, geez.
It's pretty close.
Round it again.
Yeah.
Might have to tighten it up a bit.
Than I thought. Yeah. Yeah, can you reset it?
Yeah, good call by Danielle. There's no point going around again the exact same thing. Make it a little bit tighter. It'll become more evident.
All right, so one more time. And just shy of 4.
Oh my God.
Wow.
It looks this
like
exact
If it's a tie, then it's just the 1.
But they can ask for the head official
I've never done a tie before.
to come out.
Exactly the same.
Well, if it's a tie, it's
I
1.
not get sick this time.
If it's a tie, then it's just 1.
I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm feeling nauseous all of a sudden.
Okay, so you can reset it.
I've never had a tie before. I guess it doesn't. It's just 1.
I don't think I've seen one either, Kathy.
You don't see them often, and I know we've had Brett Waldorf come out a couple of times at previous events to make the official ruling.
Just slightly over the 2. Just slightly over the 2. Slightly over the 2. Okay. I'm good.
All right, a tie it
So one
is,
red, then.
which means it's just a single. Wow. So a tie, I guess, goes to the Halifax Curling Club, doesn't it, in this case? Because it results in just a single anyways for Selena Sturmey. And a reminder, Sandra Schmerler Day here on TSN. It is a special day. This foundation has helped over 120 hospitals, Kathy, around Canada.
Thank you so much.
And Sandra's daughter is such a big part of this foundation over the years, such a special legacy. You can go to the website or call to donate.
And your email, please.
Glad you're watching our Scotties coverage. The first Scotties back in 1982. What a sponsorship for Kruger Products. 45 years supporting some of these great female athletes in our country, and a chance to showcase this event here in Mississauga 2026. Our first Sunday morning draw here on TSN, and our feature matchup, Nova Scotia, Alberta, Sturmey versus Black. And they had to go around 3 times on that measurement, and one of the first I can recall in covering that it's a tie, so just a single point in a 1-1 game. And hammer back to Christina Black throwing the yellow stones.
I think I called a tie, didn't I?
Well, I think you
well,
said
I didn't call a win for anybody, is what I did. It's unusual to see. There is no doubt about that. But as we were going to break, I think you nailed it. That's a win for Nova Scotia when that happens.
Curl through to it.
We got lots of weight.
Tapping a hair. having a hair.
Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Good. Let's slip really well. 5. Wow. She thought that. She thought she was...
Peel!
Okay, just straight peel. You got it.
Okay.
Easy, Peel! Clean. Easy.
Easy. No, I think you're
Good.
Good.
Nice throw.
We'll continue to throw the guard.
Halfway to.
I know it's an early sample size, Kathy, but how much, this looks to me like about 4 feet, 4.5 feet. How much curl are we expecting this week?
Yeah, about that. You know, one of the challenges is that when you get to World Championship play, so the winner of this will go on to Calgary to play in that event, there are limits at World play, and it's usually around 5 feet. And so even though a lot of curlers in our country love more finish, you can do that on the tour, and that's fine. But if you're trying to prepare our teams the best that we can to go on to the next level, you want to try to replicate the conditions. We've replicated the rocks, and now if you can keep it around 5 feet, then these are similar conditions to what will be in Calgary.
No.
Lots of curl, lots of finish. We saw in Selena's, Danielle called it early, and it started to overcarve, and that's when the weight came off of it.
So right now it is Nova Scotia, shot stone,
How do you like it?
I think.
I think so too. Yeah, wrong on that.
You got her.
And so continue to guard, because there's no need to make a play on your own red stone to tap it. You're always thinking of forcing your opponent when you don't have last rock. And right now, that granite, that the ability to score 2 is really small because of the hearts, although Christina did draw to the hearts in the first end. But for the team from Alberta, they'll continue to guard and worry about playing a tap depending on what happens on Selena's last.
Keep going. Keep going.
You're good. You're good. Good judge. 7-7.
Good sweeping. That's not okay for her. She had me less ice than you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice peel. Clean.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Just lean.
Clean.
You're okay. Just lean it.
Clean.
Just lean it. You're good.
Good.
Great throw. Good.
Same shot, looking for another guard.
It was a 68.
Okay.
So yes, but
max.
less is fine. Okay.
So Schmiemann one more time. And interesting as well, 2 great teams, 2 teams with a great chance to make the playoffs. And look at that, 9-7 in the only meeting. Advantage to Team Sturmey.
Well, they come from different parts of the country, so a lot of the events that they would play in would be very different unless you're at things like the trials, like this Scotties, so not a huge surprise. They don't have a ton of reps.
8-7.
It's like, I know you had more.
No, that much more.
Good though. Good sweeping.
Good, Danielle.
What's my split, guys?
I'm thinking like a 30.
Back 4.
Inside path, though.
We've thrown a bunch here. We threw those hits there.
I don't
Feel like a 20 for, you want like a 20?
One here and Tina
Just
threw
to
one
tap it
Like,
back?
just look at this ice.
Yeah, because you don't want to remove it, right?
How much weight is she looking for? Where's like
Just
Back 4, back 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think a
Back
20.
8.
Yeah.
I think a
Back
20.
4.
15, 20.
No, I'm wide. I'm wide.
Back 12.
As Christina Black
Back
delivers,
12.
update again, Northern Ontario taking on Newfoundland and Labrador, and one to come from Mackenzie Mitchell settling in the hack, and Stacey Curtis, the vice skip. We've seen Stacey a number of times at the national championship.
Wow, she is in a lot of trouble this end. The 2 stones are completely buried that belong to Northern Ontario on the lid. She looked at whether she had the in-off on the other side on third shot to try to roll it in. She's electing to play the draw. Boy, this is tough.
Coming down.
And no brushing to it yet, and they got to get by that guard first, and it's coming, and it is going to have that little wick.
Okay.
My goodness, so a steal of 2, Northern Ontario. And Krista Scharf turning it on here and leading by 4.
Then she runs that, and we're probably still shot.
Yeah, but she's going to be 2 in front of us, like yellow, yellow, red on the button.
Fair. Yeah.
I'm okay with that. If you don't, I just think if we can get to the nose and get this one at least to here.
Okay.
You're okay with that?
Back line, get to nose.
Okay.
Back line just through.
Yeah, I even think you can get there with hack, like the way it's curling there.
Okay. I'll probably be
just to the hack.
like, yeah, just through.
Try and get to the nose.
There.
Okay.
The Sandra Schmerler Foundation, Kathy, over $10 million to hospitals. Unbelievable in its 25th birthday, and a personal story for Selena Sturmey with the foundation.
Just through.
Just on a personal side of things, I work as a registered nurse at the Stollery Children's Hospital, which they have graciously provided donations for many, many times. So I'm able to see firsthand the effects of those donations, and whether it's just a piece of equipment or research or a new piece of innovative technology, every small donation goes a long way and helps us as a medical team to be able to provide the best care for those babies born too small, too sick, or too soon. And I guess coming up here in a couple of months, I actually have a new outlook for the foundation as I'm expecting my first baby in a couple months here. So it definitely brings a sense of relief and comfort knowing that there's that life-saving equipment needed in hospitals because of the Sandra Schmerler Foundation. So I encourage you all to donate today.
We want to be there, right? Even if we
Pretty incredible. An estimated 90,000 babies and families across Canada have had that help and support. And a cool side story too, Kathy, Sandra's daughters we saw answering the phones. Jenna, one of her daughters, is now in medical school and joined the Sandra Schmerler Foundation Board of Directors this fall. So wow, just special stuff as that legacy continues.
Well, as Selena said, she and Keaton, her husband, are expecting their first baby. And what Sandra Schmerler's foundation goes towards is something that every expectant mom hopes to never need. But you always want to know that if something happens that you do need it, that the resources and the equipment is there.
I'd say a 10. Okay. Yeah. Okay, you got it.
Well, that Sturmey stone didn't work out as planned. It tapped it sideways, but still did leave Nova Scotia in a very good position. Christina trying to get back into that mix and cap off any chance for Selena to draw into the hearts on her final.
You gotta go. 6, 5, hard. Just guard it. Whoa, just guard it. 4, 3. Just guard it. Just guard it.
I had 25 on it. I think it's kind of a bit close.
Well, they tried to do the audible at the end, knowing that it was going to be light.
It felt like I slid over something and it felt picky.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I think our guess was right, though.
Yeah. It just felt like I...
And Kathy, our updates continue. Manitoba, New Brunswick, Peterson, Forsyth over on sheet A.
Well, I've been kind of keeping my eye on that sheet a little bit this end, and you have to feel for Melody. Having the early bye means that they threw rocks and they can throw for 10 minutes for sure before the game or the night before, but they have sat and watched. And Kelsey Rock, who throws last rock for the Peterson team, has had the experience on the ice, and it's really been evident in terms of broom placements. Chance for 3.
Good call, guys. 3 red.
So great job there, Kelsey Rock. Now, of course, Kelsey Calvert.
Thanks for the save, Mads.
No, all good. But we knew her as a wonderful junior curler, and University of Alberta, and now starring on the Scotties stage. And her husband, a wonderful curler as well.
Brady?
Curl!
So the gap that was left, huge opportunity for Selena Sturmey.
Really coming down. Curl.
A little more curl. And a lot of rocks there around the 4-foot now.
12-5. You just tell that one was going to run so much better than the slightly tighter track.
Like Selena's first one, I liked it out of her hand. It just curls, so I don't.
Do
you think it's ever there?
Yellow.
We think it's okay. So yellow shot stone. Now, how do you get in there for 2?
We can never be high.
Just try to draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't play the out-turn side at all. The risk is too high.
She threw this one before, so.
Yeah.
So trying to get in on the in-turn, get around your own stone that you just threw by accident in the 12-foot and have it loop to catch a bunch of the hearts. It's tough, but if it just gets by, the finish is certainly here with these rocks and on this ice.
Just straightening up.
As you like to say, you got to just scooch in there, get enough of the hearts, and try to get your 2. Well, it was part of your 2 key shots. Both skips with some lovely draws back in that second end. And can she do it again here? The in-turn draw, final stone on the way here for Christina Black.
Heavy out, it's a little light. We gotta go soon.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'm always amazed these athletes, Kathy, visually in the hack, you settle in, you look down there, and you just see a traffic jam. Have to believe it will curl, have to believe that your sweepers can drag it in there.
It's going now.
Might be a little bit light. Yeah, not enough juice on that one.
Okay.
And do we need another measurement? I don't think so. Okay, thank you, Schmiemann. She'll tap the yellow. It's a single.
It's all right, just straight light. Yeah.
As we still await our first deuce of the game. Couple singles so far. 2-1. Nova Scotia leads. Nice little flashback here. The 1993 Scotties took place in Brandon, Manitoba. The final, Saskatchewan's Sandra Schmerler faced Manitoba's Maureen Bonner. The game would need an extra where Schmerler would score 1 for the win. And Schmerler, Jan Bedker, Joan McCusker, and Marcia Gooderwright would win their first Scotties title. The following year, 1994, the Scotties in Waterloo. Team Schmerler was Team Canada would defeat Manitoba's Connie Laliberte in the final. Sorry, Kat. Back-to-back Scotties titles for the great Sandra Schmerler. And the flashback is brought to you by Scotties, Canada's #1 tissue brand and the official tissue of the Scotties Tournament of Hearts for 45 years.
Such a brilliant team, Muddy. They were just so good. And I don't, like, we look at teams like Holman right now that are dominant in the sport. But in her own way, Sandra certainly was, because she forced women to change the way that we played. It was during the free guard zone where they introduced it, and a lot of teams didn't really want to play it, so they played to the wings. Sandra would just not let you do that, and it forced everybody else to be better.
3-time Scotties champ, 3-time world champ, Olympic gold medalist. We lost her too soon back in 2000, but of course it is the foundation of hers that lives on.
It was a nice throw. It does feel
And a 2-1 game in our feature here, 4th end, as we're waiting for one team to blink here. And don't let the score fool you. There's been a lot of rocks in play.
Hard line! Hard, Carly! Hard, gotta go! Have to get past this! Hard! Hard, hard, hard! Keep going!
Urging on Carly Everest.
Well brushed.
What a scrub to the Hearts, lying 2 behind cover. Putting some heat here on Alberta in the 4th end.
A very nice team shot. Great throw.
Thank you for trusting
Good line
us.
call, but just brilliant brushing. Just watch Carly doesn't quit for a second. Because if it ticks off, all of a sudden now you've lost that benefit.
15-1. It's like no one's thrown there. Hard, hard!
Shooter.
And now for Selena Sturmey, trying to open up the front, make sure she has access to try score here in 4.
Pretty quiet weight to open up the front. She definitely got one, but she left the Nova Scotia one there.
So 60? 55-60, yeah. For a high guard. Yeah.
Looking to cap it again and trying to be straight in front of the other guard so that it will be difficult to remove both. Think about a 1 guard just over the hog line.
Gliding in there. 2.
Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
And you know, Kathy, we talk about the great Sandra Schmerler, the great Colleen Jones, who recently passed away, and our condolences to the entire family, but the impact she has certainly left on this team and on the province of Nova Scotia. And one of the cool things that Christina Black talked about was the pride of having 2 teams here from Nova Scotia. They knew they had qualified because of their success, and Taylor Stevens is in the other pool, but they are so proud to have 2 teams from Nova Scotia here.
Oh, and they should be. And Taylor Stevens is really making some exclamation points so far early in the Scotties.
And how fitting is this as we bring them up? They are answering the phones as well on Sandra Schmerler Day.
Such a young team, a former Canadian junior championship team. Just having so much poise out on the ice. That first game had to have been just a dream come true to play in the Scotties, but they have not wasted any opportunity. And this is part of it. If, as a young woman curler, it's about going to the Scotties, but you know about the legacy of Sandra. You know about what this Sunday is about. And answering the phones for these teams that will play later today, it's still such a privilege.
And Kathy, you talk about the Kruger sponsorship and allowing these women to perform on this high level. So many young players say, I first saw it on TV, I'd like to do that. And so many, we talked about it, 27 rookie players this year at the Scotties. It's special to get, for us to watch them and have their dreams come true here in front of us.
You got it.
All right, so the situation has not changed for Alberta, trying to remove some granite and open things up.
And now, because they're not lined up, there's a bit of an angle, a chance to remove both the guard and the one at the top of the 12-foot.
Danielle Schmiemann needs a good one here. Try open things up for the skip, and just the one.
Boy, advantage Nova Scotia this end. Alberta not able to make double removals.
On the same side? Oh.
Yeah, you may as well. We just threw it 3 times.
Just adjust.
Yeah, just slower.
Yeah.
Do you like my extension?
Yes.
Okay.
So just a couple of reminders about how many stones have been down this path and how quick it is getting.
2 out of 50. 2. Yeah, go Jen early.
So 2 is pretty high, looking for the high guard.
Line's good.
2.5.
Line's good.
Kathy, there's a lot of mutual respect between these two teams. As we showed you in the graphic earlier, they've only played the one time, but Selena Sturmey herself saying that this black team, what they respect so much is that they have full-time jobs, they have families. Finding that balance to compete and still be great is something that they admire about their competitors here today.
And that is a challenge for both of these teams that are out on the ice. You have the top teams that are funded so fully from sponsorships and from having all sorts of backing that they don't have jobs or they have part-time jobs. But these teams that are coming up, they're all full-time employees of somewhere and or school. And it is really difficult to carve out the time to go and play in events. These are all your holidays. And then if you get to the show here, as we watch a really nice double, now you've got to take another week off work, which you're happy to do, but you have to hope for employers that are also very supportive of what you do.
So a good job there, Schmiemann. Cleans it up a little bit. Still a high center line guard.
Much better than it was.
Pardon me? Tight?
Yeah.
We're going tight.
Where her, basically where her first,
top 12.
basically where Jill's first one
You
was.
could be where Jill's was, like in the 12 foot or whatever.
Funny
Okay,
story,
Jill had
too,
like a
from Christina
35
Black,
there.
Kathy, as they're coming here, getting on the airplane to come over. They just played in the trials
Sound like
Although you're
in their home city, and she said the waitress was like in tears, so excited to meet their team.
Aw, that's great.
And all of the well-wishing that they've gotten from back home and the support,
You meant 30's okay.
literally rock stars. And there's a lot of great support back home in Nova Scotia cheering them on here. As we're into skip stones now.
38.
And another guard coming up here for this team out of the Halifax Curling Club.
Yeah.
4.
I think they're okay, Muddy. If it comes in, it's an opportunity to really put some more pressure. If she's short, it's a great option as long as it doesn't over
Yeah, we're
curl.
just a 3.
So now they're
We're
making
slowing
sure
down.
that it's going to stop and guard that stone.
It's like we are slowing down hard.
This side is hard to read.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, Kathy, you
Okay, I
talk
think it
about
works.
the evolution of a
Good.
team or a player.
I
We
have
mentioned
weight.
Christina Black under the tutelage of Marianne Arsenault early on, the 2 bronze medals, but her herself has really elevated her game.
Well, for sure, the bottom 3, that's with Marianne Arsenault. You play with one of the greats of all time. You learn so much. And then the top 3, well, that's Christina as a skip in 2022. 5 and 4, that's pretty good for your first outing. But then learned, got better the next year, learned, got better the next year. You have to wonder what's going to happen this year. She has taken so much out of every event and gotten better. That is what you want to do as an athlete.
And tell me this, be honest. Like, okay, Rachel Holman is one of the best to do it ever, and her last 2 years have been stunning. But she's not here. Nope. She's at the Olympics. This is a great opportunity for these teams here
to really push. And I feel that even if Rachel were here, these teams would have the same determination. But when you take someone like that out of the mix, everyone thinks, oh, okay, you're telling me I got a shot.
Gotta bite the button. Line's good.
We're close.
Take a look. Close. Yep, line. Hard. Good sweeping.
Great weight, too. And that just scooches in there for, I believe, shot stone. Yeah.
Good throw, Selena.
Just got that little rub at the end. If she's locked on the corner,
We're close.
just watch it right at the end.
Close. Yep, line. Hard.
Kathy, considering the way that end was shaping up, that's a pretty nice little stone.
5-2 times 2.
Still accessible, obviously, but a good chance to test draw weight. Maybe you get a chance to throw that again, depending on what happens here with Christina Black.
Just that finish at the end, I think that Danielle thought that it was going to get by, and that's what you heard the panic call at the end. Just that little rub off gives Christina a path to get to the face of the stone and tap it back.
Yeah.
And if she can here, Kathy, you hit and stick. I mean, how do you score? How do you score?
We're hair heavy.
11-5.
Hold on.
11-5.
Curl, curl, curl.
11-5 still.
Really have to carve this over. Has to curl up. Want to get that stone on the face.
Go with it, Carly. You're good. You're good.
Want to take away the drop half, but it'll roll. And now
That works.
you can draw in. Yeah, there you go for your single. And she just threw it.
Wait.
I think Christina might have been a little full and a little heavy.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate a sliver more to the hand. So it's not a crazy.
But a really good outcome.
Over a bit too. You're like, ideally, I would like to give you a little bit.
And
more.
this is the part of the game that has been advanced so much. And it's not that she was not able to draw before. I think it is more the comfort with having to play shots like this.
And you gave the coach, Ted Appleman, a lot of credit as well, Kathy. We were chatting before this game. Doing a wonderful job with this team out of the Saville Community Sports Center in Edmonton. Final stone here in 4. Needs another beautiful draw. She's throwing against 2. And they have pounded this thing the whole way. Have to go to at least limit the damage. Can they get there for the 1? And that's going to over curl, but they drag it just far enough. It'll just be the steal of 1 and not 2. You see, it was important to get it to the 8-foot at least. As we continue to trade singles, that's a steal though. And it is Black leading by 2. great to be here in Mississauga. First time that the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area, has hosted the Scotties Tournament of Hearts as 18 women's teams from across Canada here. Winner will represent Canada at the Women's Worlds in Calgary, Alberta later on this year, which is such a thrill and something that you got to do, Kathy. Just what a thrill not only to be Team Canada, but especially in your home country as well.
Oh, it's you have the support probably for the only time in the year of pretty much the entire building. Although I have to say that this Mississauga crowd has been unbelievable. Friday and Saturday, every team that left the ice was saluted. And that's something more that you see at World Play. I think about North Bay when they hosted when Jennifer won. You know, teams feel embraced, but when you play in Canada at a Worlds, you just really have the love of the crowd. So whoever comes out of this will have an incredible opportunity to not only represent the country, but to do it in Calgary, in their own country.
Curl and distance, curl and distance. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Hard, hard, hard. Okay, 6-1.
Kathy, you nailed it too. It's such an exciting, we're so lucky to get to cover these major championships and the season of champions. The trial's phenomenal. The Montana's Briar right after the Olympics. Brad Jacobs and crew will be there February 27th. And of course, we just mentioned it, the Women's Worlds in Calgary, and then the Men's World Championship in Utah. So really special stuff for us. You want the full schedule, you can go to tsn.ca, but it's a privilege to get to call these major championships.
Okay.
And because of the Olympics, a lot of the provincial men's championships were held at the same time as the women's. So we know much of the field already, and very much like this Scotties, there are a lot of new faces, which makes it very exciting.
And if you've been under a rock, on the rock, it'll be the final one for Brad Gushu, and by all accounts, sold out. It should be an absolute show, and we can't wait. I mean, 2017, I don't know, can you top 2017? That was pretty special stuff, but
well, only he can.
Yeah, it's going to be phenomenal.
Would be amazing.
Phenomenal stuff.
Yep, yep. 11-5. Yep. 11-8.
Well, some work to do for Team Alberta, and if they reflect on last end, the challenge really was in the peels. They were not able to remove one, then they weren't able to remove double peels, and that's what got the team into some trouble. And then Selena just that little bit light on her last draw. But you have to look back and say, we didn't make a whole lot of shots that end. We only gave up a steal of one. Take your two back, be tied at the break. That is the plan.
And that was a nice sneaky little roll from Desiree Haas behind the corner. There you go. So you got two reds in play. Covered.
I like that call.
But we can do that.
Things are at least setting up better here for Team Alberta.
I think I like this call. What do you think, Jill?
11-5.
Oh, less red is better. 11-5. Does that look like a ton of ice to you?
Yes.
I feel like we need a little less.
It was curling nice to the wings yesterday, though. So
I think you're close.
Yeah, you're only hitting a quarter of a rock, remember?
Close, we're close.
Whoa. 11-2. Whoa.
Close.
Whoa.
So Jen Baxter making a play on that red behind the corner. You can see a sliver of it.
Whoa, 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 girl.
Oh, very nice weight.
Lovely.
Yeah, all the way up.
And from what she was able to see in the hack, Kathy, that is precision.
Yeah, you heard me right?
Yeah, okay, good.
Trusting the curl, trusting the broom. That's a great shot.
Yeah. I didn't want to give her the less ice, but I did, and then she was wide, so it's
Well, and the key for Jen was throwing the right weight. That's always the most important thing, because you overthrow it, you go by, you underthrow it, you tick the guard. You just have to have the trust in aiming at the broom, knowing that Christina's going to have it in the right spot with the right weight, and she did.
So Desiree coming in again to that Yellowstone here, Kathy?
Yes, she is.
Okay.
hard. Hard. Popper. Hard. Popper.
Can't lock it. Has to be able to have something they can promote.
Keep going, yep. Hard.
Popper just yucky. Huh? It's a 5-9.
Yeah, I thought she was light.
Okay.
Well, one of the biggest additions to this team is Ted Appelman, longtime curler out of Alberta, and he very much has preached the change up the game. You can't just hit. And it's one thing to say that to a team. You need to play more draws, be more aggressive. It's another to have the team believe in that approach and to be comfortable with stones. Right now, the old Selena might be panicking with the way that it's set up, but she's not. You can tell by looking at her. Very, very patient, knowing there's lots of rocks in play, that you have time to manipulate stones and still generate a lot of offense. And I give him a lot of props because this team has continued to progress in development, and a lot of that is belief in Ted.
It's interesting too, Kathy, just certain people and players become great coaches.
Yes.
As Reed Carruthers doing that, obviously with Anderson, Colin Hodgson's here helping out, you know, Nunavut as well. So
good. Really good. Good deal.
It takes a village, as they say, to, you know, hone your craft and try to be one of the best in the country.
Well, you can be a great curler and really understand the game, but what is the ability to transmit that to somebody else in a way that is non-offensive, that they hear you, and that they want to believe that what you're saying will make them better actually is. And there's very few people that can really generate that complete trust.
There's Schmiemann. She picks that yellow.
I waited for the second yes.
Make the double!
Okay.
Make the double, avoid the jam. You can sit 3.
Yeah.
So Jill's a great hitter. We'll watch as she comes out of the hack. She comes straight at the target, lots of leg drive, and her arm is just slightly bent. So when she does the extension, it comes off her fingers very cleanly. It's not a shove.
Hold it. You're holding it. You're holding it. Whoa. It's perfect. Hi, girl.
And that's the result you get.
Sticks it, the double, no jam, and line 3.
Artistic, yeah.
I was like,
definitely artistic.
Oh, yeah. I love a creative throw.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, my knee's on it.
Twist. Twist back.
Hey, that's why we practice ugly throws, too.
Exactly.
Don't always look beautiful.
You can't always slide perfect.
Can't always have it. Sometimes put that double.
Like nose, I don't think helps us. I'd rather play it this way if we're gonna.
Yeah.
We might even end up in, I guess.
I think you're probably just out if you're making it that way.
I think I like this anyways. Give you a little bit more space. You might be able to use that on yours.
Like an 8?
Yeah, I think so.
The problem with trying to play the nose and get rid of the stone is you might leave your shooter there, and then they wrap around again.
Okay, just wondering if we go this way and actually try to keep our shooter. Yep. I don't hate that either.
What were they calling?
I still don't mind. Yeah.
Yep.
I guess
probably like a 9.5 with this one.
Yeah. What turn do you like?
I think I like the out.
Okay. Just normal then?
9.5, yeah.
Okay.
So you're trying to get a couple of things out of this. If you run this stone back, you might clip that one, but the bigger thing is you might roll underneath in this area. And even if you don't happen to clip the back one, this double is also queued up. So if you hit and roll underneath, if Christina blinks and doesn't make a perfect shot, you may still have a chance for 2. And so that's why they're electing to do this instead of trying to run the double off the center stone onto the stone that's the shot stone.
Paige Papley was scrubbing right out of her hand, and she'll stuff it there a little bit, and still line 2 is Nova Scotia.
Well, that was curling early.
Sorry, good sweep.
I think
it's been good.
I think even.
Yeah.
You got her.
I don't know. Are we going?
I'm assuming. Yeah. Okay.
Top 8.
Okay. Draw the button speed here still.
Well, she just threw it for draw here.
Yeah.
So just adjust from that guy, I think.
I don't think speed's changed here.
Yeah, no, I think it's like a 30.
Yeah.
I don't.
A 25?
I think it's like 15 to 20, honestly.
I'd like a 20. I'd be nervous to see 15 because tolerance is light, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think a 30's never making it.
I'm fine with a 20. Yeah, I was going to say 25, so 20.
Interesting numbers, but she does lead here 3-1.
Look at you.
So
Speaking of numbers.
I'm here all week.
6. Okay, just 5. Light. 6, 7. Mine's good.
Probably Carly's wrong.
Now they're talking about the split time.
Curling now.
All right, update time now over on Sheet B. And Krista Scharf, she had a look, went down and looked again under a little bit of stress here in the 5th end, up by 3.
Yeah, I don't know. They're trying to move that stone just ever so slightly off the hearts. I don't know if you can get 2 because it is overburied, and there is a guard out front that makes it even tougher, but there really aren't a whole lot of other options. So we'll hope to get pretty close to the guard and then have enough finish to move it off the hearts.
And that's it, Kathy, having the speed. I'm right behind that sheet there. She has to over curl this, and this thing is way out there. And I don't know if it's going to make contact.
I think it's there.
No, it will not.
I don't think it was there either.
Well, maybe with a little less weight. Good effort.
And still leads by 2 after 5 over Newfoundland and Labrador. And Mackenzie Mitchell.
Yep. Hard.
So back to our feature, skip stones.
Hard.
And Selena Sturmey
Hard, hard, hard.
tried to run it back. She'll pick the 1 yellow out and open it up. But again, pressure applied here by Nova Scotia.
Center line is really catching both Danielle
8-3.
and now Selena.
Are you thinking in?
You could be a biter.
A biter? Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Yeah, replace the, I can see the ring right
Yeah.
there. Okay, so you were here?
Yeah, just a hair less maybe for the guard.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you want to be tight.
Yeah. Okay. Just touching, just coming up to the center line, coming into it.
Yeah, it makes her draw harder, right?
I'd like to be just a biter right in front of that guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's do it.
Even if you,
So a good conversation where they want this stone.
Yeah.
now I'll give you that 30.
It's a good chance to be a biter.
I feel like I
You
need
know
to tell
that
you what to
Selena
throw,
in that
so-
case will probably try the run back, but if you've got another stone in it, even if you make the double off 2, you're going to still be leaving the runned in stone.
Yeah, nice to steal when you can in this game. You know, so close last year. Nova Scotia lost that semifinal 9-8. It came down to the final end in an 8-8 tie with Carrie Anderson.
Yeah, we're there. We're close.
Actually needed a measurement just to be sure in that game, but it was Anderson indeed going on to the final where she would lose to Rachel Holman.
Yeah, we're
Good.
just a bite.
And she's come out pretty strong here, her team, with a good performance
She really wanted to
so
bite her.
far on this Sunday morning. And again,
And it makes that draw hard too.
unfortunately, if you're Selena Sturmey, you got to draw the hearts.
This is really tough.
I was saying it to Jen.
Well, that yellow stone is not your friend, right? You got to get by that, curl enough, and find the button.
And because of the finish, Selena's going to have to be very close to the yellow on the outside to get through that port and have enough room to get by the stone at the top of the 4. This is very tough.
That was a 40 to 45. Yeah. Okay. We can chunk the top one a little as well. So yeah, it's about 40, 45 is close.
So you want to be a skip.
This is precision here, Kathy. This is a tough shot. The out-turn draw. Final stone here for Selena Sturmey. And there was no hesitation right out of her hands. Haas and Bapley were on it.
Hard line.
Really got to go.
she's
And
all
that
over the
is
front.
unfortunate. And a steal of 2. You saw the graphic earlier, maybe 3. Is that in?
Don't know. Oh, they agree
Wow.
it's in.
So a steal of 3
Good sweeping.
and a 6-1 advantage. Tough one for Selena Sturmey as Christina Black having a great morning here in Mississauga. Nice to see Team Nova Scotia, Taylor Stevens and her team out of the Halifax Curling Club answering phones here on Sandra Schmirler Day. And look at the number there, over 200,000 already and counting, as the foundation will provide $70,000 this year to Credit Valley Hospital in Mississauga. That's literally about 10 minutes away from here, as helping babies in crisis across Canada. Meantime, the other Nova Scotia team off to a nice start here, 6-1 after 5. Kathy, what stands out to you?
Well, you have to look at the steals, and that's in 4 and 5. And the problem in 4, they weren't able to make any double peels, and that left Selena a draw to the Hearts, and she came up just that little bit light. But last stand again struggles to clear the front and to make precise shots. And the draw weighed 54% is Selena. I talked about the key matchup at 3rd, Jill Brothers. Could she be trials, Jill Brothers? Well, her numbers right now are a huge plus.
So a massive comeback required here for Selena Sturmey and her team, as they won those pre-trials to get to Halifax. Had a nice record in Calgary a couple years ago, 8-3, 4-4 last year in Thunder Bay, and having a chat there with Coach Ted Appelman. And as a reminder, of course, the phones are still open, as Team Northwest Territories, Team Nova Scotia answering your calls on Sandra Schmirler Day here on TSN.
The 2026 Scotties Tournament of Hearts is brought to you by Scotties, Canada's #1 facial tissue brand. By New Holland, proud sponsor of Curling Canada. By Montana's Barbecue and Bar, Canada's home for barbecue. And by PointsBet, the official sportsbook and casino partner of Curling Canada.
Kathy, I'm just saying, if I had wings, I'd probably fly out of here so a little bit warmer.
I'll build you a wing.
They're hanging on, though, those Canadian geese. They're hardy birds, aren't they? Man.
It's a blustery day.
Yeah. Anyways, you know what? It's a great day to sit on the couch and join us. Draw 5, Scotties Tournament of Hearts this afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Tanner Reese-Hansen here for the very first time. BC and Jolene Campbell, a familiar face. Both teams look for win number 1 as Vic and Russ and Joe, Kathy have you all covered this afternoon as our coverage continues. The Scotties right here on TSN. inside the Paramount Fine Foods Centre. Beautiful building here. Opened up in 1998, holds about 5,000 people. And as you talked about, some nice crowds for opening weekend here.
Very supportive. And certainly Haley Armstrong has given them a lot to cheer about so far.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Haley out of the Whitby Curling Club. So Whitby is east of Toronto, just down the 401.
35, so. 35? Yeah, slower
And a
side,
6-1 advantage here for Team Nova Scotia. Christina Black.
Yeah.
And trying to find a way to come back in this game, Selena Sturming.
Well, and I think if I'm Ted Appelman, a lot of that conversation would have been a discussion about what is draw weight. They seem to be getting caught. Selena is a good drawer. That last one wasn't close. Really light. So is it her kick speed? Sometimes you need people to look at your technical and give you a little bit of help, because you can think that you're throwing the same speed as maybe earlier in the game, but you might be sliding a little bit slower, or the ice is changing, but you need to share that information.
It's quite nice. It's
lots of game to go.
And a lot of championship to go too, Kathy, right? I mean,
wow, that shot was quick.
Find your momentum, get in some good habits here and build, right? Build something going forward. There's a lot of curling still to come here, and you want to find a way to be in that top 3. And I guess if there's a silver lining for either of these teams, Kathy, is that they're going to beat a lot of teams in this group as well. So,
well, sure they are.
You know, there's going to be opportunity. And take advantage.
And they've been behind in events before, and they found a way to come back. This is when you draw on your experience from this year, what you've done, how you've gotten here, and you remember what you can be. Lots of game left. You know that with the free guard zone, there's going to be guards in play as long as you put them there.
4-2. Okay. Good.
And that'll just hang on. Back 12. All right, so we talk about this championship in the schedule. So a great start with the win over PEI. Christina Black's going to beat a lot of teams, right?
Sure is.
Northern Ontario will be tough. And then, you know, you have Skurlik. That's a great battle of Alberta, Newfoundland, Labrador. You'll finish up with Manitoba and Team Peterson. So a lot still to come to try find your legs here.
Well, and that's the other thing is that you take a look at what you have later tonight. Northern Ontario's Krista Sharp's playing very well. And so it's not just about this game. It is not out of reach. But even if you don't win, there's things like underthrowing double peels, just throwing them really quiet. You control that. There is draw weight, the discussion around that. There's so many things that you can take out of this second 5, even if it's not a W, that are really imperative for this team going on to a really another big game tonight.
And now a miss there. You can maybe take advantage of as Jen Baxter missed everything. So Desiree Haas will go around again.
Getting better. Keep going though. Line good. Go distance.
Back 4. We're there for distance. T back 4. Further. Good. Nice shot. T. Nice.
Very nice.
5-4. Nice.
And if you need just some recent proof of having a bad start, how about this young woman at the trials? It wasn't great, but guess what? She battled second end of the week, made it all the way to the final. You look at her schedule, started with a win. In control here. You talked about Northern Ontario, probably one of the favorites in this group, and Skurlik is a team that can do some damage, so take care of what you can take care of early. Try bank a few wins and get hot.
And a big day for Christina Black as well. You saw that she plays Beth Peterson from Manitoba tonight. That's another team amongst a group that we are expecting to vie for those top spots. So you're up 6-1, but if you blink, it could change very quickly. So for this team, the Nova Scotia team, they would have been talking about how to build on in this second 5 and take the opportunities to remove guards when they can and not flirt with danger.
And how about this? Now a chance to have 3 rocks in the house, 3 reds. Maybe not all shot stones, but applying a little bit of pressure here in 6.
Clean. 11. Whoa. Clean. Curl.
Have to hold the shooter.
Curl. 11.
It's good. Nose is fine there. 10-6.
It's hard to tell, Muddy, who's second.
I don't think it's going to matter very shortly.
No.
Yes, we're going to see a double of some sort.
Other side, Carly. Oh, shit.
The hair, low, nose. Heel, intern.
This does make me feel that
nice
Christina
toss there.
feels that it
Should
is
run right
2
here.
currently for Alberta. If she thought she was second, she would probably play the hit and roll off this shot stone, but we'll try to move this shooter over to the center. Try to group the stones together to make a double on the next.
Oh, just get the double somehow.
No.
And just the one.
Alrighty, great. Shoot. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, this shouldn't be.
So make the hit, and I guess try
I haven't
to
seen her
not
ton,
leave
but
an
I
easy
can't see it
double. I
curling
mean, there's
very
going to be
much up
something,
here.
obviously.
11.
Yeah, but they're pretty staggered. If she can sit on the nose, it's going to be very sharp to make the double. It'll be there, but not a gimme by any means.
Yep. 10-5.
Hair big.
10-2.
Clean. Hard. Control. Hard. Control.
clean, just
hard.
A little bit out.
And there you go. To your point, Kathy, nose hit, and you're right. I mean, there's no gimme doubles here. Got to try the slash, maybe.
Nice. Good sweeping. And then she plays this, and then we'll have a double.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, either this.
Yeah, I like this one.
Okay.
Right there.
There really aren't
Like a 10-8 or something.
easy
I like a
doubles.
10-5 to get the roll because we're coming in and off.
True. Right there.
Okay. You got
So
it.
trying to hit and roll underneath the stone, just hit by Danielle Schmiemann. Knowing that in Selena chasing it, maybe she ticks the front. If she rolls right under, she'll have to run it back.
Yep. 10.5.
Okay.
That was a fluffer.
I know. I was like, I gotta get that.
Okay, let's make it good.
Okay.
The one cool thing she talked about before the
10-2.
championship too, Kathy, is there's nothing they're not prepared for now. They played on
10-3.
single sheets. They played in big games. They played in finals in front of crowds, loud, quiet, whatever. And wanted to hold that shooter. She'll spill out. But there's not a lot of situations now that this
Okay, it's just
Christina
heavy.
Black team has not seen.
Alrighty. Sorry. It's okay, Tia.
Well, and you add the fact that not only did she play on a single sheet at the trials, she played in her own home city where the crowd just wants the very best for you. That can add a lot of pressure. And so you're right, wherever she plays and whatever event she's playing in, she's going to have a been there, done that.
She said even back in Halifax for the trials in the final, obviously Rachel was going to win the game, but her last shot, the whole place stood up and cheered. She's like, how am I not going to start bawling right now? Like, how do you hold it together? And it's, you know what, win or lose, and obviously such a wonderful week that's memories that they said they will never, ever forget.
No.
Yeah, special stuff.
To me, this just feels like practice ice.
Yeah, it's as fast as you're on
She's
the
throwing
pin.
70s to T1.
Yeah. All right. For top 8, what kind of kick do you want? 65, 70?
Well, the big discussion is where to put this.
Quite nice.
The key for Selena is to find draw weight.
Okay. Ideally for
Another update now, 5-3, Northern Ontario leading. And it looks like a draw for 2 here, Kathy. Quick glance.
No, I
I'm
think
wrong.
in fact it is shotstone belonging
yep.
to Newfoundland Labrador. That is buried. Krista looked at trying to slash that red guard to the right of the Scotties sideways, but you're hitting it so thin, and you could wind up moving your own and giving up 2. So this is the force. It is a draw. She needs full 8 foot.
And it needs to stop.
Okay, and you hear
Oof,
that.
That's never
Probably
a
like
good
14.
thing. Meanwhile, we watch Selena trying to draw us into some paint, and does.
Stacey Curtis out to see if she can drag this for a stolen point, and she will. So, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, steal a 1. Don't go anywhere.
Wins in
It's
a
Newfoundland
row.
and Labrador. Mackenzie Mitchell, full credit. Continuing to battle there and making it interesting on GB.
Just go for the roll. But yours went backwards.
And a nice job by Alberta here in
I
our
thought I
future,
was
making
just
it very
doing that.
difficult and keeping that chance of a 3 alive, and they'd be right back in this game.
Well, Christina going hard here for the double. On the back one. One of the options Sturmey had was going back to where the other stone was in the 4-foot back, but the risk of that was that if Christina did make a hit and roll underneath, now she's chasing. That's why she elected to go to the wings and say, if you want to make a double, you're going to have to make a long one. Was trying to just bite the top of the paint. It's still pretty long.
This her 5th hit of the game, and needs a good one here. Her final stone in 6. Alberta with hammer.
Back it up. Hard. Back it up. Back it up. Back it up. Back it up.
Here, Baxter, all she's got, trying to back up the stone, and she'll drive it by. Where does the shooter go? Can she tuck a little bit? Yeah. Still pretty wide open, so a hit for 3, and what an opportunity here for Stelina Sturmey.
Yeah, in between.
Yeah. Good try, Tina.
Thanks.
No guards.
Throw the right weight, hold the shooter, get your 3, get right back in this game.
2, and it was pretty gradual.
Okay. Speed should be similarly nice, I would think.
Yeah, I don't think it'll come off at all.
11-5. Okay. Pretty gradual, hey?
Yeah, I think it will curl, but it's not like super snappy.
Okay. You got her.
So this looks like a hack weight type shot, Kathy, with the broom where I see it.
Yeah, just quiet, probably.
12.
Oof, I thought she was throwing 11. 12 can start to go.
Whoa. Clean. Whoa. 12. Clean.
Looks pretty good, and clean is always a nice sign. As Paige Papley brushed down, guides it in.
Great rebound.
Tap it back. Yeah, game on again. 6-4 for Christina Black, but some momentum now for Team Alberta. Sandra Schmerler Day continuing here on TSN, the 3-time Scotties champ, 3-time world champ, raising money for babies in crisis from right across Canada. And here's Northern Ontario's Sarah Potts.
Today is Sandra Schmerler Day. It's a cause that's very close to my heart. My boys were both born 2 months premature, and we spent over a month in the NICU, and seeing what it takes for that place to run, the amount of machines and equipment and staff, and seeing the babies there that need that help, it's just an incredible cause to donate to. So if you are able, we just ask that you please call in and donate today. Lots of the teams will be answering the phones, and we'll be happy to take your donation. Thank you.
Yeah, very special stuff. You saw Northwest Territories answering phones. Carrie Galusha now here as a coach as she stepped back as a player last year in Thunder Bay, her final Scotty. So phones are open all day long here as we raise money for babies in crisis right across Canada. Our feature matchup, Alberta, Nova Scotia, and that's a nice little bounce back. Giving up the steal of 3. Will they score 3? Does Selena Sturmey. And right back in this feature matchup here at the Scotties in Mississauga.
Well, and for Team Nova Scotia, both of the stones in the house do belong to them, but both of them are in spots that Christina will not be happy with. Anytime you start to slide deep, you give your opponent a chance to get in front just like this.
Nice, Des. Good shot.
And Des taking advantage of that.
Yeah, that is nowhere close to what it was.
No. Peel. Like we're up 2 with hammer.
And their back house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm completely on the same page. If you go on top of that stone, if you're short, you're protecting it. Even if you're on there, now you're trying to find a way how to score 2. But you're looking at the scoreboard, and getting rid of the front is your biggest problem.
And she'll get the 1. Does Jen Baxter.
Straight, like I'm just wobbling.
And she's done that a couple times actually in this game, Kathy.
She has. It might be just a foot position in the hack, or kicking out just a little bit too hard.
Feels fast then for a 1. Is this max ice?
No, you'll be good here.
I did not add any.
No, we're really clean it. 1. Go, we're over. That's good, I think.
Weight's good.
It's not good.
Thank you very much. Curl. 1. Just above your broom. You're just above. Keep going. Just above. Keep going. Keep going. Hard, hard, hard.
Good. Good. Nice, Des.
9-6.
Nice throw. Yeah.
Let's get you up to date. Other scores from around the sheets of ice. It's Manitoba commanding lead over New Brunswick and Melody Forsyth. You just saw the update earlier. Northern Ontario, a 5-4 advantage. Newfoundland and Labrador trailing by 1. And Nunavut clawing ahead, a 6-5 lead with hammer over PEI. So Julia Weigel trying to pick up win number 1 here at the Scotties.
Okay. Realistic goal. I hate a 5. Yeah, I would say I'd love a 5.
You talk about a lot of the rookies that are here, and you see Selena Sturmey holding the broom in the house, and she was asked before the championship just about the Scotties and maybe her memory of her first, and she said getting to play Jennifer Jones before she retired was really special. It was a pinch me moment for her. She looked up to the Heather Nedowins, Jennifer Joneses, and said, you know what, maybe one day I can be that player, and look at her now.
Well, if you're in a sport, you always have an idol, someone that you look up to, and often by the time you get to that level, if you do, that person is then moved on or retired, and so to actually be able to face those people is pretty surreal.
5, no ad. Pull back almost. Yeah.
T-line's okay.
So that is a high guard.
Should have sat for a few.
This is my path.
And so Christina now changing tactics, asking Jill to draw in.
I'm having good power boost. I think you can probably throw 35. You got me to it, so.
Alberta doing a great job at having a lot of separation between those guards and not a great angle. And so instead of just peeling off the top, they're concerned that if they peel off the top, now that we're at third stones, Alberta may wrap and put another one on there, and now you're chasing against 2.
Line's good. T-line.
Okay.
We're really close. 7.
Looks like it's curling.
Yeah. Curling. Yep.
Really close.
Line's
No,
good.
we gotta go.
Bite the button. Bite the button. Bite the button.
We're close. We're there.
Yeah.
Joe Brothers, pretty nice weight. Lock it on. Shot stone. Really nice touch.
I had
15-1. One on lock.
You hear a lot of numbers at home. Well, 15-1, that's the time hog line to hog line. You hear a 35, that's usually the split time. Then you heard them yell 7. Well, that's the place, the zone in the ice. And 7 is pretty close to exactly where that Yellowstone is. How'd I do there?
You did great.
Okay,
I was just nodding. I was like, look at you. No, well done. That is for sure. And different teams have different split times and what they time from and to. Everybody creates their own systems.
Back. Close. Street. Back 4. Street. T. Street. T-line.
So trying to get to the face of it and tap it back a little bit.
Gotta go for everything.
This is coming down hard.
Keep going. It's usable.
They did drag it top 4. Still shot stone belongs to Nova Scotia.
She's not far off with weight. It does seem that there are some paths today that are catching them always on the slow side.
That was the slow spot.
There you go. And it can be something as simple as just a little bit tighter ice. You get to a new path or a path that's sat there for a while.
6.
And it is just that little bit heavier and it just won't drag as far.
Curling earlier.
Okay.
Hard.
4. We're dying then.
Hard line. Hard.
Just a 4. 5.
Hard. We're gonna corner freeze this. Hard. Hard. Whoa.
That's fine. Okay.
15-5.
And that's a really great comment by Christina Black. As brushers, you think you're taking it to the 4 foot. You know you're not going to get it there. And so they're starting to fade and die off. And then Christina yells, if you listen.
Hard. We're gonna corner freeze this. Hard.
That's the, we're going to corner freeze it. And then they got more oomph because now you know, you're thinking, I'm not going to get this to the 4 foot, but when she says we're going to corner freeze it, now she's giving you a different target. And as a brusher, it's really important to have that.
Danielle was a 50. Okay. I just don't want to bounce crazy, so 45. Sure.
Skip stones here in 7, trying to come down now again to that Yellowstone. Bit of a tricky path. You see both sides a little bit shy with weight. And we'll see what Selena Sturmey can do here.
Lots of good rotation. Look at the handle of the stone, especially with the sharpened stones. The more rotation will really help it to carry further.
Trying to carve that over, curl up, and actually will wick off into the open.
4-8.
And now that pocket.
Ugh. Is that wider than? Yeah, I think the 20. Okay, should be close. Great. Give us some more room to maneuver it.
This spot's more like a 30 now.
No.
Let's check in on sheet A, and my goodness, a tough shot to come here for Melody Forsyth out of the Capital Winter Club in Fredericton.
Well, the bad news is you're facing 5. The good news is that there are no guards on that intern side, and there is a path to the hearts, but that is what she needs.
Well then, wait only.
Melody playing with Rebecca Watson, Carly Smith, Jenna Campbell.
Great. Line's perfect. Wait only. Clean. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa.
And has to curl a little bit more, and a steal of 1. So pretty good to limit the damage, but for Beth Peterson, of course, Kelsey Calvert throws the final rocks there, skips the team, and they're cruising. They're up by 5.
Shouldn't. That's so fast there. I felt a little light.
Smash throw it short.
Well, Christina certainly has draw weight.
Maybe top it for 3 on this side. That was a 5-3.
I just feel like going to it almost makes
I don't think we need to go to it.
Short.
Make her throw the intern. Okay.
Can she get there? Probably.
Yeah, like I feel like we're probably almost.
Yeah.
If you can get it, think you can get it to stop there.
That's lots.
Okay.
It stays out there.
Okay.
Being at the face of hers, though?
Yeah, but she can also get shot being to the face of her back red.
Okay. Sorry, just the nose on the yellow just doesn't look like shot, is all.
All right. Her easiest shot is probably going to the face of her back red.
Okay.
Just to the top one?
Yeah, top 12.
Okay.
Well, this is
I don't think
tough
we want to be to it
for Alberta. You come out of the break,
I like that.
you score 3, you feel like you flip the momentum, and then the wheels fall off in this end. So she's throwing it on the top 12 foot, just trying to block the opportunity for Christina to get 3 right back, feeling that the best odds of getting 3 are to come down to their own stone, although I do believe that the intern side, Muddy, is wide open.
I think she can get there with the intern.
I do too.
Line's good.
But you got to do what you got to do here to try limit the damage. You know Nova Scotia now already 2 in the back pocket here of Christina Black. So, yeah.
5-8. Was Selena's first?
You get a little better than full 4. Obviously, you touch the button, you're good for 3, but it's there.
A similar slide, but with a bigger extension.
The only thing I can think is they're feeling that
mine, it's like as soon as we think
they'd thrown so many rocks the outturn side that maybe this is uncharted ice and it's that half of the sheet has sat the entire end. It might be a bit of a guess.
But really, what else did Selena Sturmey have there? I mean,
the only thing she could have done is block this side or tried to draw this side, Muddy, and maybe
there's
get
nothing to
second
run.
shot.
There was nothing.
No,
right. You were just up against it. All right, so great opportunity right back here for Christina Black. The intern draw.
I have a hair light right now. I had a 15.
Find those hearts and pick up 3.
Yeah, go. Yeah, go. I think it's going to be you. Okay.
We're really close.
No, it's cruising. It's cruising.
It's all Carly.
Close. No.
Really
nice.
It's all Carly, as in Carly Everest. If she can carve it over, it's coming. A little bit more. Carve it in. Get that full 4. What a draw shot. Christina Black, absolute money.
Beauty, and that angle also shows you why, in case you're wondering why Selena didn't try to throw the heater and pick one out. Look at the red one in the back. You make any play on your own and you jam. You think maybe this will be a tougher shot? Not for Christina Black.
Yeah, draw weight. Building off that momentum of that great trials performance in her home city, she answers right back to lead 9-4. Well, to start the game, Kathy, a lot of singles across the board and then threes now in 3 consecutive ends. So an answer back for Christina Black, a 9-4 advantage. Here in 8, down by 5, it is Selena Sturmey with hammer throwing the Red Rocks.
You know, when you score 3, you expect to score 2 when you have last rock, or you don't expect, but that is what you strive for. 3s are not that typical. So when you score 3, you go, yes, and then your opponent takes 3 back and you're like, ah, and then you take 3 back. It's pretty unusual to see 3s in 3 consecutive ends.
Top 8.
Yep.
Oh,
No.
5, 6. Okay.
All right, Kathy, right back to work. Let's update Sheet B, Northern Ontario, Newfoundland, and Labrador.
Well, you can see the 3 reds. There's that yellow that she's sitting on, Sarah Potts. So trying to run this one back, the yellow onto the red, have the drag, go straight back, pick the yellow one out. Potential for Krista is 4.
Final stone, Krista Sharp on the way. Bang it. Oh, clip the yellow, and look at them roll, and look at that. 4 for Northern Ontario.
Great shot after giving up a couple of steals. That puts you right back in control.
I guess it does drag.
Was that opening night, Kathy? She made a shot through a port that I didn't think even existed.
Well, they were laughing after when they watched it being replayed, going, holy Crowley. Yeah, she went away from the stone through a very narrow port. Brilliant shot.
Well, and that's how you want to start a Scotties, right? Traditionally, sometimes not the start she wanted. Well, she's firing right now.
She sure was.
All there right now.
Where is all there?
Top 12, top 8.
Curl.
Go around it.
Street, actually, street.
Top 8.
Help her.
Right next to it.
Help her.
Top 4.
Keep going.
T-line.
Keep going.
Hard.
Keep going. Keep going. Distance.
Good.
Oh, well done.
5-5. Okay.
Got a couple buried.
You always talk about the plus, Kathy. Nothing doing there.
No,
Those
so
numbers.
Yeah,
what that means is through the order is that you're not really getting an advantage at either position at the seconds. Both very even with each other.
So like, am I sweeping it? I don't know. I needed to change something.
Good throw.
All I hear is I turn it in and don't say anything else. Well, when I'm throwing them straight, I'm like near flashing everything. So I was like, I gotta.
So another corner guard will go up for here, Alberta, to protect those 2 red stones.
Yeah, for Selena Sturmey and her Alberta team, they're not going to be too concerned about the 2 Nova Scotia stones in the house yet. There is a double off of them, and she'll worry about that later. Right now, it's about protecting those 2 stones that are lined up on the other side.
Just pass. We're quite tight. Easy.
Line's fine. It does not need to
Pass your room. Just let it sit, I think.
It's good. 7-2.
It's just.
And now a little closer to the house, so we'll try the run.
Okay, you got it right to her. Should run pretty straight. Yeah. Hairless! Yeah.
Straight peel is okay, but as you say, Muds, because it's closer to the house, you've got a chance to pick at least one of them off.
Yes! Whoa! Hard! 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 Yes!
Follow the yellow. Follow the yellow.
Shooter!
Whoa. Okay.
Good throw.
So close.
I know. It's not bad.
Good
so
try.
close. Yeah.
Well, and this is where you will see the difference in the game with that huge plus by Jill Brothers. Danielle Schmiemann, such a strong player, but is not winning the battle today. That means there's a distinctive edge starting to go to the Nova Scotia side as you get to the back end.
All right, so when you played, did you care? Did you look at the stats? Be honest. Like, did you check them out?
100%
You
I
did?
did.
Okay.
100%.
So you were 100% or you 100%
Oh, no.
checked?
100% checked.
All right.
And you know what made a difference to me is not the number, but whether I got a plus. Because my whole philosophy was always that my goal was to outshoot my opponent, because then I was going to put my team in a good position.
Get it out of there.
So not the number, because you can shoot 90, but if your other person's shooting 100, you're still getting your lunch eaten.
Rachel Holman in the Scotties final. 100%. I mean, what are you going to do?
It's called unbeatable.
I don't want to set up a double with those.
You like the same turn?
I don't worry too much about it. I think Reds.
Okay, same idea, guys. Yep.
That might be the only time that the cliche "give it 110% might, you know, pay off.
Well.
So, in theory. So pretty simple here for Nova Scotia. Eliminate red.
Yes.
That's what Joe Brothers trying to do right here. 1, 2, got them both, and rolls it in.
Okay. I know, she said roll it, but I knew what you said. Nice one.
Great throws.
Thanks.
Very nice.
Yeah, I know the first one was so good, but not good enough.
She is playing so very well. We saw that at the trials, and that has not changed at all.
When I asked for less ice, you're like, yes! Yeah. I was like, was she thinking that in her head maybe already?
I was. I literally put it down and I was looking. I was thinking like, I think this is too much. I think this is gonna nose it.
Yeah. You're right. I would have. Yeah. Good. Good. Okay.
Christina talked about, you know, growing up and who you watched, and she remembered, we talked to the Olympic year, obviously a lot of excitement, watched Gushu in the trials back in 2005, watched Sandra Schmerler at the Olympics back in '98, and that still resonates with her, and that's special, obviously, on Sandra Schmerler Day here today.
Whoa. Yep. Hard. Hard.
Don't roll. 11-4.
And that'll spill into the open, back 8.
Yeah, the problem for Alberta is their own stone and the 12-foot. It's in the way of getting to the shot stone.
Just nose it.
Yes.
10.5.
Okay.
Sounds great, Tina. Sorry, how much weight again?
10.5.
Great, I love it. Okay, right to her. Just keep your broom down, Jen.
Yep.
Skip stones here in 8. Christina Black playing the hit.
Hard. Hold it.
Wow, they picked her up right out of her hand and pounded this thing the entire way. And yeah, a good brush. It'll flip in as well. Back 8.
It like caught my hand and I turned it in instead of out a little.
Panic.
Fill that up to half.
Good sweeping.
I was like, oh God, we're flashing.
Well, great brushing out of her hand. When the skip or whoever throws and starts screaming right away, you know that they're a little bit tight. And by jumping on it right away, they managed to keep it straight before it started the curl.
Yeah, jump it right away.
Yeah, I wanted so bad to make sure we stayed, you know?
Only bump it a hair. One up.
Yeah, and then I was trying to give it a normal one.
Player comparisons brought to you by New Holland, proud sponsor of Curling Canada. And obviously, Christina Black has the plus over Sturmey this morning.
Well, and Selena, you know, you talk at those hits. That is her strength for years, and the draw weight has just been elusive. She's made some good ones, and then I don't know whether it's path specific, if they'll talk about rocks after, or some days you just try to put it to a spot instead of it happening naturally, and it can be a struggle.
Line's good.
Running right now. Line's good.
Top full 8. Not curling.
No bounce on this line.
We're not there.
We're close. Top 4. Cannot bounce on this line. You're not on it. We're close. T-line. Cannot bounce.
Yeah, we're good.
No.
We're really good. Easy.
And that's a nice little lock on.
No, did not get a good. Get those, Selena. Get those, Selena. That's a bad judge, sir.
In there.
Do you ever like just a tuck?
Yeah,
okay.
I think that's where you
just
go.
Just a tuck?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
And that was a 15.5.
Okay. So this would be like to get to the button. So maybe about there?
Do you need that much less, do you think?
I do.
Because we're throwing it a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking.
I think I do.
You think you do?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you got her.
So looking to tuck a little bit,
No,
so
it's a bit
Selena
slower
does not
Because you're
have the
inside
tap
So I think 25
to
would be
score
okay.
two.
Just like top 8,
Get
top
around
middle,
there
because
just
I
a
did
little
that
bit.
Yellow on the red.
Yeah.
Christmas tree.
So
Okay. You're in the inside path, so I mean, it should still be fine, like 25, 30 probably.
yeah, hers was just 15.5 to top 4.
Yeah, should be a pretty good little power boost, so.
So like a 30.
That was Colleen Jones, was it not? The Christmas
It was
terminology, that was
just
hers.
the best.
Have light. 30.
Felt good to me.
Hard down, though.
5.
So trying to tuck a little piece. Out turn, draw her final stone with one to come from Sturmey. In the meantime, again, a ton of red rocks. Unfortunately, every time we look over the update, Manitoba, New Brunswick.
It was 5 last end, if you remember, and Melody almost made the draw, gave up one. Similar situation. She's facing a draw, needs full 4-foot, but it's not easy because of the rocks out front. Has to navigate a very small port.
Close, yeah. Oh, yeah.
This port's easy to go through if you're playing a kit, but with a draw, oof.
The provincial champions out of the Capital Winter Club in Fredericton, out of New Brunswick. And yeah, not to be. So a steal of a lot.
Four?
Maybe 5. 4 for sure, regardless, handshake. So for Kelsey Calvert, Beth Peterson, out of the Assiniboia Memorial Curling Club in Winnipeg, a nice victory and a nice start as they're off and running at 2-0. So back to our feature, final stone, down by 5, Selena Sturmey.
Cross line, keep going, you're close.
Desiree Haas carve it over, and yeah, good enough for the single.
One red, yeah.
A frustrating morning for this team out of the Saville Community Sports Centre as Nova Scotia leads by 4. Welcome back to our Scotties coverage here on TSN in Mississauga, Ontario, the 6th largest city in Canada. And that's a beautiful number so far. How great is that? Over $270,000 raised. Sandra Schmerler, 3-time Canadian champ, 3-time world champ. What an Olympian she was as well, winning a gold medal. All supporting neonatal care right across Canada. And the goal this year is to try reach 1.25 million. So we appreciate all of you that have called or gone online. In our feature matchup, 9-5, Nova Scotia leads. Just that single on the board for Selena Sturmey. A much better start here for Christina Black and company as they struggled at the trials in their home city to start. They rallied, and it's always nice to bank these wins early, Kathy.
It is, and I think that for Selena Sturmey and her team, this is an all-out, and you go really hard. You know what the scoreboard says, unless you're able to find a way to manufacture about 3 this end, you're going to be in really tough coming home. So look for no hits, some tapping back, some moving stones. I'd be really interested to talk to the Sturmey team after, even just listening to the brushers. They seem surprised often about where stones wind up. We're not hearing that out of Nova Scotia, so you don't think it's the ice. So you're wondering if it's just they're seeing things or if they're timing, if the timing isn't showing them what it feels like. And if that's the case, you just chuck away the stopwatch and say, never mind what it says, it's heavier than you think it is. Because the misses today have all been light by Alberta through the order.
Jen Baxter will rip here. Try to get a couple red going.
Yep. Hard. Hold it there. Whoa. Sorry. She's so strong.
Just overcalled.
Shoot. Not the worst. Get in there. Shoot. I had that out of my hand.
We had it, and I just made her back it up.
Shouldn't have listened.
Full 12.
Okay. You got her.
We'll find the speed here.
Whoa.
Back line.
Curl then.
Back line, just through. Just through.
Keep going.
Just a little tap here, Kathy.
Tap.
Yellows.
Yep. You bet you move them. They'd love them to stay in the house. Just kind of spray them back a little bit so any attempted removal by Nova Scotia could maybe jam on their own.
3-3.
Okay. Same throw.
Yep.
Baxter, one more time.
Pushing it back. Easy.
Good. Holy, does it ever float? Like she didn't look like she floated those at all. It was just a sweeping back to them.
Yeah, I was going to say, we haven't seen things float. When you let them go, they don't drift back. But on Mike Merklinger ice, if you throw the right weight, you will get the right results. But the more you throw, the straighter they go. And any sort of set motion, it will go back. And the brushing right away, if you jump on it, it will pull it back a little bit. Not really a float, but it won't give it a chance to start to curl.
Line's okay.
Kathy, I get asked this a lot, so I'm going to ask you. After a game, win or loss, do a lot of these teams, do you park it, not talk about curling, talk about anything but curling, or is it instantly you're right back to talking about curling? Or do you need a break in a long week like this?
The answer is yes to all that. Do you need a break? Yes, but you know, you cannot, even if it's a brutal game, the tendency is just to want to scatter and not talk about it. But these teams, both that we're watching now, are playing tonight. So in the case of Christina Black, you don't want to just say, if we win this, we did everything great. No, what could you have done better? What did you notice? How do you improve? And in the case of Sturmey team, you're charting the rocks. Were they good? Were they bad? Was it us? What do we own? The debrief is as important when you win as when you lose. And it used to be, and a lot of people feel that you don't have to do it as much when you win. But it's every bit as important because maybe your opponent didn't make their shots. It doesn't mean that what you called was terrific.
It's interesting. You talk about in your era how Sandra Schmerler changed the game.
Yeah.
And you hear the same thing about Jennifer Jones at the height of her career, and now Rachel Holman. Why are they so great? Because they continue every single day, practice, throw. How can I be better?
When I played with Jennifer, there was never enough. Like you won, but it was always looking within that, but we could have won by more, or this end we gave up 2 and we shouldn't have. And it wasn't negative, but it was just this drive to be better all the time. Those teams aren't on top and dominant for no reason.
And what's interesting in talking to those great athletes too, it's not even just about your performance on the ice, it's can I be a better leader?
Yes.
Can I be a better communicator? Right? Those intangibles that maybe we don't talk about enough.
And I think that the word leadership is not taken seriously enough. You look at the best men and women's teams, I can give you maybe a small handful of true leaders, because leadership is not being a last rock thrower that's good. It's by supporting your team, by communicating and having each other's backs. And there are a couple people that stand out to me. I mean, you look at Brad Jacobs, he talks about leadership courses. Christina Black is a great leader of her team. She leads by example, not only in her work ethic and how she manages things, but even in her graciousness in losing a trials final. That's a leader.
And just to support your point, Mark Kennedy, in a conversation with him before the Olympics, said, Brad has taught me so much about losing. Because when you lose, sometimes you have to understand why did we and what can we take from that. And Mark's a winner. I mean, what hasn't Mark Kennedy won, right? So, yeah, it's a big part of it for sure. The ups and downs of a long week. And these aren't just one-off games you go home. You got a whole week to try battle and fight and claw.
So I was wanting to curl.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I got it in or anything.
No, you basically hit the
mid-8 in. It kills so much speed.
I agree.
What are you thinking kick-wise? 4, yeah. 35?
Yeah. To freeze that guy, but no bump.
Okay.
Is a 40 too little?
I think that's quite close.
We're thinking 35, 40, and right in there.
Yeah.
See in a hair less. Yeah.
It's kind of like top 4.
So kind of freezing that yellow, I think I heard them talk about here, Kathy, or
getting in that mix.
Just somewhere up top, make it tough.
Not big.
Mine's good. Top 8. Just top 8,
okay, no bump.
Still gotta go, I think.
Top 8. Distance. We're almost top 4. Okay, we don't really want to tap it, just to it.
Gotta go.
Line. Okay.
Top 12.
Hard then. We're almost hard. Hard line.
Line. Hard, Paige. We're just ticking the red. That's okay. That's good. Good sweeping.
All right, some shrapnel up top.
5-3.
What'd you get on her?
50.
Got it. Are we like too tight?
I think
it's not easy.
No. I think you do it.
Like, would you hit the, you could try to get too low that you hit the 4 first almost by mistake though.
Yeah.
Right?
That's not that bad. As long as I don't lose the momentum of getting that one out. This one might stay shot, but that's okay.
Yeah. Don't you think it's going to pump it pretty good though?
What? Oh, I meant if I hit that one first.
Yes.
No, yeah, this one's gonna clip this, but then it's gonna go. It will rattle through.
It might chunk a little bit, hey?
Yeah, I think we'll be okay. I mean, I could even hit it on this side, and then it for sure goes through.
What about that? What about just nosing that?
Yeah, but with peel to make sure if it clips it goes through.
Is it not just like dead jamming it?
No, like if you hit it on this side, it's gonna push it this way a little, and that one's gonna go, but. Well, to kill this one, I gotta hit it this way.
Yeah, that's what
this one will be shot, but that's kind of okay.
That's fine.
I think so. I think that's the
you
play.
gotta kill
So
this rock.
just think
nose?
I think
high
peel
side.
like right here.
Okay.
Try and hit
or
here.
you might get lucky and sneak it through. You might get lucky and sneak it through.
Maybe. I don't think I have a chance of the game.
Yeah, that guard's moved over enough. I didn't realize that.
I think the out probably right there.
And we're only hitting it
right, less than the broom. Yeah.
So they've talked about trying to hit it in the crotch. The question isn't that this one will go through, but when you're throwing that, the momentum is going to push this and this, and to be able to go through the middle and push it, it's not the angles, but you have to throw a lot of weight to catch
definitely the correct way
this stone, this guy right here, hang on, to catch this guy, to have him go through. Then they talked about just hitting that red stone that Jill has the broom in front of on the nose. The other red one goes, and you stay right there. So I think the elected shot is to hit the crotch and hope that the momentum will push the other one through.
Push it back. Push it back.
Christina Black, and she'll drive the red back.
Okay, pretty good. Okay.
Changes the dynamic a little bit around the 4, and shot stone is indeed Alberta. Top button.
Yeah, just tight.
Yeah, that's just not thrown the way she wanted to.
Sorry.
Push it back.
Just tight out of her hand, was trying to hit it on the right side, not on the nose.
I think so. I think it's the nose to the tiniest of the
Our second shot.
Yeah. Bump to 12. Okay.
So I believe that broom bumped the yellow and dry lie the 4. Is that bump it enough or just tap it back, Kathy?
Well, for sure tapping it back, but she talked about back 12. So for Selena, it's more about line 3 than 4.
Right.
Bump? Yeah. High 11 even is fine. Okay. Sounds good.
Try to make it interesting at the very least here.
Not hack.
12, 2.
Yep. Curl. 12. Queen. Yep. Hack. Yep. Hard. Hard.
Trying to hold the line, tap it through. Oh, didn't want the jam though, and they will. And they do, though, still lie 3. So you can hit for the single.
No.
And that's probably ball game.
No. No.
I think
So
you can
just
hit
a
and
nose is
jam and
fine
you're still
then.
fine.
Yeah,
Right,
you
Kath? There's no problem.
But this is fine too.
As long as you're staying in the 4-foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like
From the
11?
hack, it's edge to edge for Christina.
11-2.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Just don't
So
roll
that's
the shooter
quiet
out, though.
weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, 11-2.
I like 11-2.
Worst case scenario, if you ever hit and roll out, is that a steal of 2?
Right, yeah.
Hard to say. It's close.
How much you throwing?
Like 11-2.
All right, take a nice breath. Let's make it perfect.
Yeah.
Stay real close, Jen.
Yep.
That little reset here in the hack for Christina Black. And the final stone away here in 9.
I agree.
11-2.
So I play that tap, pick up a single, and likely handshakes if she can achieve the result.
Lots of space. Go, 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 go. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Oh, sorry.
There's the tap, shooter.
Okay.
That'll spill a little bit too far, so a steal of 1.
That's okay.
Selena Sturmey gets a single.
Good. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's a little scary there. Good job.
How was the speed?
And it looks like we will play on.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay. Steal of 1 was fine.
Down by 3, but Christina Black does have hammer. When we return on Sandra Schmerler Day here on TSN, there's the number to help babies in crisis across Canada. Stones on the way here in this 10th end. A 9-6 advantage for Team Nova Scotia. Christina Black over Selena Sturmey out of Alberta. Steal of 1, but time and rocks winding down here for Team Alberta. Oh, the big swing were those threes, right? Just over the shoulder, you can see.
Oh, it's huge. You know, you give 3, you get it back, you feel like momentum is going to be on your side, but the black team has not given a whole lot of opportunities to Alberta, and I feel that through the order, Alberta, just the draw weight has been elusive.
Hard, 16. Hard. Yep. Good sweeping.
What'd you have on that one?
And Kathy over on sheet B, we have handshakes between Northern Ontario, Newfoundland, and Labrador. And what can you tell us about Krista Scharf? A nice little start here.
Well, she certainly has. Drew for 3, and that was enough in that game. And important wins. One to come from behind, another that she controlled. It is Sturmey that she will face tonight. And certainly the momentum on the team of Northern Ontario early, and that is not something we typically see. We usually see her come from behind later in the week, and unfortunately in Thunder Bay it was too little too late.
Top 8, hard.
So good news if you're from the Thunder Bay area. 0-4 last year. It was so disappointing for them, and you try to turn it around, but it's a short round robin with only 3 advancing. You cannot start with a slide and expect to battle at the end and get in.
Yeah, and that excitement. Remember in the COVID year, they made the final.
Yes.
Thunder Bay, and obviously Curling Canada, great job to bring it back to Northern Ontario. It's not the result they were looking for, but good for them. A nice little start here in Mississauga. So 10th end, you can see the shot stone belongs to Nova Scotia on the button. And another guard will be thrown here by Alberta. Pretty simple story for Christina Black now. You just want to hit and clean up anything that is red now in this game.
And one of the things that we've seen in this game is the challenge that both skips have faced with draw weight with precision. But unfortunately for Alberta, it's not going to be likely a draw against 3 because Christina will continue to peel things. Likely Christina will be hitting on her final stone. But you want to have her have to throw it.
Clean. Yep, have to go soon. You're good.
Nice.
Okay, very good. Great shot. Nice. Excellent.
I know it's early, Kathy, but just even on both sides, both groups, anything surprise you, stand out, jump out to you so far?
I think the immediate thing in watching for the last 2 days is how some of the rookie teams, rookie skips at the Scotties have just not looked like it. They're just very comfortable, and maybe that comes from playing a lot on the tour and playing a lot of these teams. Maybe it just comes from the programs that they have. U20, U25, universities. There's so many opportunities to play in things that matter that when you get to the show, it's not your first aha moment. But I look at someone like Taylor Stevens. I'm underlining that team. Very impressive in their first 2 games. Haley Armstrong did not win last night, but pushed Carrie Enerson, a predominant favorite, right to the bitter end. I mean, those teams look like they belong without having the bumps that a lot of teams face when they first come to a national event.
Yeah, watch Taylor Reese Hansen come out. Obviously really highly ranked in Canada, but boy, she played an aggressive game as well. And will definitely pick up her game as she goes. She was a lot of fun to watch. Which brings us to the game story here, Kathy.
Well, in 6, it was that 3 coming right back. Christina unable to make the double. Kind of opened the door to Alberta, but then she slammed it on her face in the 7th with taking 3 right back. And the numbers overall, we feel like Christina Black has controlled this game. She has. But when she looks at those numbers, she's not going to be thrilled. But it has been the draw weight that has caught Selena Sturmey.
The game story brought to you by Montana's Barbecue and Bar, Canada's home for barbecue.
Whoa, whoa, clean. Nice shot. Very good.
Great.
Jill Brothers.
10-5.
Nice shot.
10-5.
Yeah.
That's a very good shot by Jill. They're not just removing stones. They're saying to Selena, we're going to make it really hard for you to even contend in this last end.
Yeah, that was just through. 12, I think. Okay. Just back 12 on that last one, he does? Sorry? Back 12 on her last?
Yeah.
Okay, just back 4 for this guy.
Yeah.
Be closer to 30-ish.
I like that.
Clean.
Not a huge
Back
ad.
4. Yep. T. Yep. Back 4. Whoa, curl. Back 4. Curl. Back 4. Whoa, street. Street. Curl. 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 Full back 4. Curl.
Hard does. Keep going, buddy.
Goodies.
4-5.
Nicely done.
Almost back 8.
Yeah. Nose.
Just trying to create the angles, just that little bit of a bounce. If it doesn't bounce at all, it's ideal, but you can see she can get to the nose.
Okay. Yeah. Trust it. You got this.
I don't think you want to move our yellow.
And again, with Jill throwing, you're not going to underthrow this. Rattle it around.
Yeah. Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa. Gotta curl a little.
Great shot.
Got them both going. As the red will scooch out.
Nice one. Good shot, Jill.
Good call. Good. It was a great throw. It just flows. It does. So I was like, just don't touch it.
I know, it just felt like
That's
I threw
awesome.
it
Great.
Very nice.
Yeah. Like this.
That's that upweight ability, and lots of really good things can happen. These rocks aren't as lively as they used to be, but there's still a lot of pop when you throw that kind of weight.
I'm just like, every once in a while on my out turn, I'm just getting too far, and then I'm navigating, and it's like, oh, why am I doing this?
Yeah, but we both know.
Do you ever hate the in-off? I just think we need to kill 2 and keep 1 in the rings. If we ever hit and roll, then they play the run, or no?
Don't think so.
Okay, that's fine. Out turn? Yeah, okay, sounds good. Okay, I don't mind this. Yep. Whoa.
Whoa.
Yep.
Trying to make that shot stone go away. Needs to stick the shooter.
Okay, good throw.
Just been that kind of warning.
Yeah.
This is the spot that it runs pretty true. I threw here. Nice. Straight through.
I think so.
Yeah, it's pretty true here.
Yeah, just a 9. I'm just going to try and kick 9.5. It should be a 9 at the other end.
All right, take a nice breath. Right at the stick.
You hear the technical cues that her team gives to Christina, that take a deep breath just reminds her to just slow things down. And that little bit.
9-2. Just clean.
And a chance to really put this game on ice.
9-2. Just clean.
Christina Black.
Yep. 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 Clean.
9.
Great. 9 right on.
Great.
The hit, the roll, back 4. And that'll do it. Handshakes.
Good luck. Good game. Good luck.
A tough one for Alberta, and Christina Black, though, and her team out of the Halifax Curling Club on a nice little roll here early on in Mississauga.
Hi.
Good job, guys.
Hi, Emma. Hi, Sarah. Hi, everyone in the garage.
A lot of support back home in Nova Scotia, and we thank you for your support today so far. As it's Sandra Schmerler Day here on TSN, the 25th birthday of this wonderful foundation. We'll wrap up our coverage right after this.
The 2026 Scotties Tournament of Hearts is brought to you by Sponge Towels. Nothing absorbs like it. By Montana's Barbecue and Bar, Canada's home for barbecue. By BKT Tires, growing together. And by Home Hardware, locally owned, genuinely Canadian.
Yeah, that's nice, right? Little time with the fans after a big win as they pick up the W here. In the meantime, Kathy, let's wrap things up here now. Nunavut and PEI.
Well, this red stone that is shot is the stone that is going to be run back. That was thrown by Amanda Power, trying to find a way to stay in this game.
And the imports out of Ottawa, Julia Weigel. Got a strong game so far and trying to pick up the win for Nunavut. Out of the Iqaluit Curling Club. Bang it back. Oh, lovely right through. And how about that? A win for Nunavut. Handshakes, 8-5 the final. And that is the first win for Nunavut since 2020. Good for them. That year, Lori Eddy went 2-5 for Nunavut. She's here, by the way, in a coaching capacity for Ontario. So, Pool B, your standings. Remember, top 3 qualify for the playoffs. There's no tiebreaker games. It's the head-to-head matchup and the last stone draw to the button numbers. So you see those three teams in good shape to start with a lot of curling to come. We'll feature Pool A later on this afternoon, and over there, same story. You have 3 undefeated teams. Those teams at 0-2, you cannot afford another loss if you're Fortin or Scoffin. Top 3, of course, will advance to the playoffs. And we're just getting underway on this Sunday. 3 draws today from Mississauga, and this is your feature coming up. Draw 5, Pool A, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Taylor Reese Hansen, 0-1 record. Jolene Campbell, Saskatchewan, also looking for win number 1. As our coverage will continue with Vic, Russ, Kathy, Joe. They'll have you covered. And, of course, the telethon all day long. It is the Sandra Schmerler Foundation in honor of the 3-time Canadian champ, world champ, Olympic gold medalist who we lost back in 2000. Well, her legacy lives on. You can see her daughter there in the distance, and just a wonderful support from former players, former teammates all week long. There's the number, there's the website, helping babies in crisis right across Canada. As we look forward to hearing from you, and we appreciate you watching our coverage on this Sunday morning. The winner of this year's Scotties, 18 teams competing from coast to coast to coast. 1 will be Team Canada and represent our country at the Worlds in Calgary, Alberta later on this year. In the meantime, the action just getting going. So glad you joined us for our first of the morning draws. For myself and Kathy Gauthier, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you later on this afternoon at the Scotties in Mississauga.